Recognized around the world as the leader in sports television, ABC Sports celebrating its 25th anniversary.
The 52nd playing of the Sugar Bowl Classic in New Orleans, played since 1975 in the Louisiana Superdome, matching Miami and Tennessee. The first time ever in the Sugar Bowl for the Miami football team. It is the sixth time for Tennessee in this game, the first since 1971. The reason for that, this is the first Southeastern Conference championship for Tennessee in 16 years. And championship is very much a matter of contention on this final day of the 1985 football season, and this is why. Penn State undefeated, 11-0, playing Oklahoma tonight in Miami. Miami here in New Orleans with a record of 10-1, and it appears that Iowa is out of championship hunt as they trail by 21 in the Rose Bowl to UCLA in the fourth quarter. But what about this championship business? Miami, October 19, went back to Norman, Oklahoma, and beat the Sooners by 13 points. Oklahoma, since that time, however, has righted their circumstance and finished with a flourish to rank number 2 in the coaches' poll behind Penn State, which is first in both the major polls, the UPI coaches' poll and Associated Press, which is the writers and broadcasters. Now, if Penn State wins tonight in Miami, it's academic. The Nittany Lions are the national champions. But what if Penn State does not win? Oklahoma wins there, and Miami wins here. Oh, my goodness, you've got a difference of opinion. Let's turn to the respective coaches now and get their opinion on what happens if Miami wins and Oklahoma wins.
I really believe if Penn State loses, and we're fortunate enough to beat Tennessee, the Southeastern Conference champion, we would deserve to be number 1. I say this for one reason: what we have accomplished on the field. We went to Norman, Oklahoma, without preseason All-American Kevin Fagan playing, and we beat Oklahoma decisively in Norman, Oklahoma. They're the Big 8 champion, and they would be the Orange Bowl champion. We went to Florida State University, a top independent, Gator Bowl champion. We beat them on their home field. We went to Baltimore. We played the Atlantic Coast Conference champion, Cherry Bowl champion, Maryland. We beat them. I say we should be number 1 because of what we have accomplished. We would have the longest winning streak in the country.
Well, I think that the people that voted the UPI poll have said that we're number 2 team in the country. It's inconceivable to me to believe that those same people would not vote us number 1 if we beat number 1. And the logic that I know Jimmy Johnson's using at Miami is that they beat us, they deserve to be number 1. Well, Florida beat them, so I think Florida deserves to be ranked ahead of Miami.
All right, Frank Broyles, I'll make it easy for you. And I do have a vote in one of the polls, so I'll say this. If Miami wins and Oklahoma wins, I'm going to vote Miami because Miami beat Oklahoma. Now, how do you feel?
Well, Keith, you've simply voted the record, and there's a well-grounded tradition for this. The coaches in their poll voted the record also for number 1. But after that, they voted what they feel to be the strongest team. And they feel Oklahoma is the second best team in the country. But more than this, coaches would like to share the wealth. In my opinion, if Penn State loses, Miami will be the national champion in the AP, and the coaches like to pass that goodies around and let 2 schools be the champion, and they will vote Oklahoma the national champion, and they will share it.
You don't see a playoff in the offing anytime soon?
Coaches are 3-1 against it. The Bulls are adamant. They have the power, and I don't see any future for it right now.
Market it. Argue, argue, argue. That's what you'll have, especially if you have 2 champions. Right now, here's one of the teams in contention. The visitors for this 52nd Sugar Bowl Classic, the white-shirted Miami Hurricane. A record of 10-1. They're second in the AP poll, 4th in the UPI coaches poll. They only lost to Florida the opening game. Second year for Coach Jimmy Johnson, 18-6, played for and coached under Frank Broyles at Arkansas. And now hang on, because you're about to have the Big Orange come bolting out of the tunnel, and the Big Orange faithful outnumber the Miami faithful here in the Superdome, probably 10-1. Tennessee with a record of 8-1-2, SEC champions. They lost to Florida by 7 points at Gainesville. There are 2 ties against UCLA and Georgia Tech. Coach Johnny Majors, 9th year at his alma mater. 59-40-5. They have just won their first SEC championship under Johnny Majors. And they're forming now the T, which opens the avenue for the Volunteers to come bolting out of the tunnel. It's expected about 40,000 Rapid Ball fans are here. They've been saving themselves. It is loud in the Superdome. I'm Keith Jackson along with Coach Frank Broyles. Let's talk about the matchup. Tennessee leads the nation in takeaways. They're plus 21. Miami is minus 3. Jimmy Johnson of the Hurricanes says that Tennessee's strengths point right at Miami's weaknesses.
Coaches are motivated by the fear of turnovers, Keith. They work against it constantly. But still, Miami is minus 3 in the ratio. And Jimmy Johnson's told me twice this week that the key to the ball game is Miami avoiding the turnovers, because Tennessee's not expected to turn the ball over only 7 times in the last 7 games. And Johnny Majors believes that old theory: if you don't beat yourself, your opponent can't do it either.
All right, do you think Tennessee, with its defense now, can manifest some pressure on Testaverde?
Oklahoma could not, Keith. I think that Tennessee, to have any chance in this ball game, has got to roll the dice. They've got to gamble and put some pressure with their linebackers and safeties. I expect Kenny Donahue to have drawn up more defensive blitzes than any Miami team has seen in the past, and they hope to confuse Testaverde, who I think may be the best college passer we've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah, but you know, and I know, and everybody in this building who knows anything about this particular matchup realizes that you've got to keep that Miami offense on the bench if you have any hope to win. That means Tennessee's got to possess the ball.
That's the only way they can win, and to possess the football, they've got to run. They've got to put together and rush and produce some running game. If they do this, then their pass protection will be adequate, and they can keep the football. That's what runs the clock. Tennessee needs to have that ball 35 to 38 minutes if they're going to have any chance to win this game.
All right, now Tennessee's got to go out here without their 2 starting cornerbacks. Sims has started for 4 years. Brown started for 3 years. They're sending out 2 people who have started some at that position, but Tim Brandt will fill us in on the condition of those injured people, Sims and Brown. Timmy?
Keith, the situation is this. I talked to Johnny Majors. I watched both players warm up. Terry Brown, who is that starter, who is the experienced man on that right cornerback, will not play at all tonight. And then Tommy Sims, he's a 4-year starter on the other side, and he may play, but he will not start. Instead, you've got Andre Creamer, who started a few games last year on one side. On the other side, you've got Victor Peppers, who started the first game this year, but was victimized by UCLA, mainly because of his height. He's only 5'8". Now, let me tell you, the 2 wideouts from Miami are 6'1" and 6'2" with great leaping ability. I'll guarantee you, if I was Miami, I would test him early, and Testaverde may.
Miami and Tennessee, and the coin used for the call tonight to start the ball game in the Sugar Bowl is a new U.S. Liberty silver dollar made by the U.S. Mint, commemorating the Statue of Liberty centennial in 1986, and will be available to the public all this year. Miami will kick off, and Tennessee will receive it. And going deep for the Volunteers will be Jeff Powell, number 21, who is the Walter Mitty story of all stories in 1985. Showed up, spring practice, track man. Got the last scholarship. Just kind of hung around, worked hard. Middle of the season, stepped into the backfield, decimated by injuries, and has become, Johnny Majors said, his top running back going into the Sugar Bowl game. He's very fast. Mark Selig will kick it off for the white-shirted Hurricanes, and number 52 in the Sugar Bowl is underway. Powell deep in the end zone will not show us his flashing speed. It'll come out to the 20, and carrying on the motif, the theme of New Orleans, if you will, Darrell Dickey, a 5th-year senior at quarterback. There's a look at Jeff Powell. He is a senior. 170-pounder, and Jim Miller at fullback, 230 pounds. Tim McGee, the All-American wide receiver from Cleveland, 180. Eric Swanson, tough as a doorknob, 5'11", and 185 outside. Swanson may be a very important personality in this ball game before it's done tonight, as may the tight end Jeff Smith. The first snap is coming up. It is Swanson coming to the bottom of the picture. McGee goes to the top, and Tennessee starts out with 3 wideouts. You'll see that a lot, I think, tonight. Darrell Dickey looks over the Miami defense and comes up throwing. Whips it over to Swanson. Swanson is up around the 25, and he is rolled down by Don Ellis, the offensive front. Very important for Tennessee. The Volunteers, Smith, the tight end, 6'3", 235. Darrell Smith at tackle, 255. Harry Gelbreth at guard, 260. Todd Kirk to center at 255. Bruce Wilkerson, a lot of people like him for All-American, 260. And David Douglas, 265 at the other tackle. There'll be some moving around of the offensive line personnel tonight in order to contain the likes of Jerome Brown and Derwin Jones in the middle. The 2 big tackles for Miami can be records. Bouncing around, pressure's on, and Dickey, seeing the pressure coming, turned to go the other way and had his feet slide out from under him. Bruce Fleming was the man who intimidated him into that loss. The defense for Miami lines up with McVay, Jones, Brown, and Fagan on the front. Moss, Myra, Fleming, the linebackers, and the deep people are Ellis, Bain, Blades, and Brown. And there are some soft spots in that Miami secondary.
Keith, the Miami secondary is the most inexperienced part of their team. 3 sophomores, 1 freshman, and only 1 starter returning.
Ball is back at the 18-yard line. Powell is out. Keith Davis is in, and you've got movement along the front by Tennessee, it appeared. And so the Volunteers now are getting themselves into a bit of a pickle in the early going as they are backed up once again by penalty. No score. We'll be right back. May have jumped. It looked like he was calling an audible. Now, whether or not he caught the Miami team encroaching or whether they got back, I don't know.
Keith, he did, and I'm surprised that the officials did not call it because the center is told to snap the ball once the defense charged into the neutral zone.
Well,
the officials were both asleep.
The officials are out of the Southwest Conference. Wendell Shelton, the referee. Umpire is Joe Darton. I'll give you the rest as time allows. Bob Garman is in to punt. Back to return it for Miami is Brett Perriman. Bob Garman comes in here averaging just over 39 yards. But he places the ball pretty well and has pretty good hang time. Perriman back at the 40. Picks up 2 blocks on the corner. Back across midfield and thrown down around the Tennessee 48-yard line. 41-yard punt and a 12-yard return, and here's the way Miami's offense will go as they're all spiffy looking as they ride the riverboat. Testaverde at quarterback, 6'5", Warren Williams very fast at halfback. Alonzo Highsmith is the hammerman in that running back core. Michael Irvin is a terrifying speedster at wide receiver. Brian Blades, who plays way outside, can really move it out. He had one of the big plays of the season with Testaverde as they hooked up against Oklahoma. His brother Benny plays in the defensive secondary for Miami. All right, here come the Hurricanes. Their first possession at the Tennessee 48. Not a bad place to have your first possession. And looks like Testaverde is checking off himself on the first snap, and now he spins a timeout. The crowd got to him, and the Tennessee Volunteers, having called a couple of defensive plays, Frank, they were bouncing around and confused him.
Tennessee's strategy has been to call 2 defenses. Let Testaverde, the quarterback, look at one defense, sabotage the audibles of Testaverde by moving after he calls his audible. And that's what happened. Testaverde changed the play. Tennessee changed their defense. He was going right into the teeth of the defense, so he took a timeout.
The offensive front for Miami lines up this way. And they're big fellas. Willie Smith, the tight end, the career pass receiver at Miami. Paul Berticelli at 255. Dave Electa coming off knee surgery, 240. Greg Ricuzzi, he's 265. Paul O'Connor weighs 265, and Ed Davis is in at 260. Now, after having spent a timeout, Miami comes up for its first snap of the ball game, and the crowd gets on them right away.
Tennessee will move their secondary coverage.
Ball is handed off to the I-back, Warren Williams, 6-footer, 205-pound sophomore. And the offensive front from Miami tore a hole in the Tennessee defense as he ran the ball all the way to the 39-yard line. Here's the way Tennessee lines up defensively with Cooper, Scott, Hovanek, and Kimbrough. Linebackers, 4 of them, Jones, Ziegler, and Miller. Jones in particular outstanding in that group along with Ziegler inside. Kramer, Peppers, White, Davis. It's the secondary where Tennessee's hurting. As Tim Brandt told us, the two starting corners injured and out. 2nd down and 1. Testaverde rolling around, lost in the backfield on a mix-up, and he is sacked back at the 43. Finney was looking, I think, for Highsmith and never got it to him.
Highsmith busted the play because he was supposed to come up the middle and take the handoff. Testaverde turned. No Highsmith. He could do nothing but try to find the ground as quick as he could.
And so the loss is from the 39 back to the 43, where it'll be 3rd down and 14, and Jimmy Johnson prowls the sideline.
And Jimmy is worried about the crowd noise, Keith. He's worried about using audibles in the indoor arena. Makes it more difficult than in outside fields.
To correct my call, instead of 3rd and 1, it's 3rd down and about 4.5. And the pass thrown down the middle is incomplete. The pass intended for Willie Smith, and coming up is Andre Kramer, the left cornerback, to knock it out of there. Good play by Kramer.
The blitz is both linebackers are blitzing, so the tight end has got to be open. Testaverde turns immediately, but Tennessee was in a robber defense. Number 1, Kramer was coming over to cover Smith, the tight end. He got his hand out in front, preventing the completion.
Kramer goes deep now as the punt returner for the Volunteers. And Tennessee shows 10 people on the front, 10 of them up there. They're going after Jeff Fiegels. He averaged right at 39 yards per kick. There are 10 orange shirts up there, and in the middle it goes on a short snap to Mel Bratton. Bratton takes off, finds a big hole on the right side and takes it for a 1st down inside the 20.
Did we talk about Jimmy Johnson doing the unexpected? Tennessee is in a blitz. Jimmy expected it because Florida State had blocked 2 of their kicks, and they set themselves up for a nice gain, snapping the ball to the fullback, Bratton, and he comes close to scoring. It was a 25-yard gain. Here it is from the end zone.
Bruce Fleming, the linebacker, starting linebacker, is the snapper on this play, and he made a heck of a block there to get Bratton moving.
Well, Tennessee just took themselves right into the rush and opening up the hole by charging across the line.
And here are the Canes now. 1st down near the 18. Penalty flag down into the end zone. Pass caught, but hang on. Mike Urban pulls it in, but let's see about the flag, and the flag came early. Mike Urban was wide open. It's against Tennessee, it appears. It is. It's touchdown, Miami.
What a beautiful execution of picking up the blitz. Man-to-man coverage, challenging to the top side. Irving is a spectacular receiver. Number 1, Kramer's trying to cover him, but he just couldn't do it. Irwin had 9 touchdown passes, 840 yards in reception. Beautiful throw on the blitz. Tennessee is hurting, trying to gamble, rolling the dice. They lost.
And it's the worst thing that could happen to them, to have Miami get on the board first, because the Hurricanes will go right for the jugular, and they've got the tools to do it.
Jimmy Johnson's theory is force the offense, force the defense. Don't let up. We've got the best players we feel, stronger, more physical, more speed. Let's use it and force the issue. All set up, Keith, by the gamble of running on 4th down and 4. Here's the blitz is coming, an all-out blitz. Look at the blocking of this offensive line. Testaverde has plenty of time. When you let Testaverde set up, step forward, he is virtually always on target. He is very, very accurate. Perfect illustration on the touchdown to Irvin, number 47.
Miami used too much time before they got their kick away, so now Greg Cox, after a 5-yard penalty, will kick it from the 15. So it's a 25-yard extra point try. He stands in there 6'5". Good place kicker. Got some heat on him, though, and he drills it into the net. Tennessee had a man flash right in front of his eyes, but couldn't quite get to it in time. And so Miami is out to a 7-0 lead.
Keith, in Tennessee's first possession, they had a lost play, something they've got to avoid at all costs. On 2nd and 3, Dickey tripped over his tailback Powell, putting Tennessee into a long yardage situation, something they must avoid if they're going to have any chance to keep possession of this football against the Miami defense.
That's Powell deep, Selig to kick off.
Kicking from the 45, Keith, offside.
Because of the offside call on the previous play, and that time Selig just hooked it very badly. Went out of bounds up around the 10-yard line. So that'll back him up to the 40 again. So That advantage is gone, and now Powell hopes he'll have a chance to run it back. You've got to play in the first quarter, 11:01. Ball comes back to the 40 now, and Powell waits, standing this time outside the goal line. That's high. He should have a shot at this one, though it takes him 4 yards back. He's coming. Bad choice. Bad decision.
Once you hesitate on a kickoff return, you cannot come out of that end zone. The defense are now close, and they'll stop you inside the 20 as we look at the plays. Very impressive by Miami's offensive line.
Certainly wasn't a volunteer scoring drive, was it?
No.
The ball is on the 14-yard line.
This is something Tennessee didn't want to happen. Miami scoring very easily and then being backed up on their second possession.
Throw, same play that started the other possession. The opening play for Tennessee in its previous possession was a 6-yard pass to Swanson, and they've got about the same thing this time.
One thing that Tennessee feels about the Miami secondary, they can catch the ball on short passes in front of them. As we look at Jimmy Johnson, who went to Miami last year as Schellenberger left, took over, and has an 18-6, 75% winning record. Very confident young man and an excellent coach.
This time Tennessee shows only 2 wideouts out of the I formation. Pitch goes back to Powell, and Powell gets to the line of scrimmage, and that'll just about do it. That might get his progress to the 20. They'll be looking at 3rd down and 4.
If Tennessee continues to use the 3 wideouts, Miami are going to come full blast with their big defensive ends, which means if Tennessee can't make any yards inside, Keith, inside of those defensive ends, it's going to be a long day on Darrell Dickey trying to find some time to throw some passes.
All right, Jeff Smith, number 81, the tight end, has come off the field. Miller has come out at fullback. Tennessee again with 3 wideouts. Miami showing blitz. Dickey checking off. Blitz is on. Whistle, stop it.
Delay of the game, I guess.
0 showing on the timer, as Dickey was calling a checkoff, and I think he ate up his clock. Delay of game.
Another mistake by Tennessee.
3rd down and 9 now for Tennessee. Penetration again by Miami, but Dickey runs out of the pocket, looks for some help, dives for the marker. He'll be close.
He gets it.
Depends on the spot. It looks like they're going to give him the mark near the 25, and that'll be a 1st down.
What a story, Darrell Dickey. 24 years old, 5th-year senior, had played very little football, was just sitting around waiting for the chance, being prepared should he get the opportunity when Tony Robinson, their great quarterback, was injured. And Darrell Dickey has come in, completed 64% of his passes, thrown for only 1 interception and 10 touchdowns. He's the son of Doug Dickey, the former coach and now athletic director.
And it's the first down of the ball game for the Vols. The ball swung out to McGee. Tim McGee, the All-American wide receiver, up across the 30 and near the 32. Let's go back for a recap for those of you switching across your dials now, having had a decision in the Rose Bowl. We're in the opening quarter of the Sugar Bowl. Miami leads 7-0, and this is the touchdown play. Vinny Testaverde, the quarterback, lofting it to Mike Irvin, wide receiver. Irvin, you see, with his great speed all alone, the pass on the money, the kick was good, and it's 7-0. And Miami got that touchdown resulting from a 4th down and 4 run out of punt formation for a 1st down. Doug Dickey's son, Darrell, delivers the ball sharply, but Joey Clinkscales has no chance at all because when the ball arrived, so did Tolbert Bain. And Tolbert Bain is particularly sensitive to footballs thrown in his area because Tolbert Bain was one of those in the neighborhood when Doug Flutie had his miracle a year ago.
And Tolbert Bain doesn't want anything like that to happen again, but he has had a fine year as a defensive cornerback, played that play very well and closely, holding the yardage to a minimum.
Clinkscales is the man at the bottom of the picture. It's 3rd down and about 1.5 yards for Tennessee, and they're going to throw on 3rd and short, go underneath, and get the 1st down. The pass caught by the fullback Howard coming out of the backfield. William Howard, a sophomore from Lima, Ohio.
How long can Tennessee continue to throw the nickel and dime passes? I don't know. I'd say it's questionable that they can continue to be lucky enough to hit these short passes. 3 of them it took to make a first down, 10 yards. As Howard grabs it for the first down, only a 4-yard gain. Miami will get a little bit closer and a little bit closer, Keith, and they'll pick one of these off in just a minute.
Dickey is 5 out of 5 for 25 yards, so that further defines what you're saying, Frank. Five completions and 5 tries for only 25 yards. He's going to throw it again on a deep drop this time and goes down the sidelines with it, and it is not intercepted, even though it was in the hands of the Miami man. He had it when he was out of bounds. And the man covering was Tolbert Bain, covering Tim McGee, and McGee had something to do with Bain not being able to hold the ball.
McGee is a spectacular receiver, All-American. His job is to stop McGee from releasing outside, and he did it. When McGee got pushed down, he lost his footing. He did not have the acceleration, and it was just a matter of whether it was intercepted or not.
So Timmy hit him in the back there and knocked the ball loose, knocked him out of bounds, and it's 2nd down and 10 for Tennessee. Dickey is calling a check off, yelling at his wide receivers. They get it away just in time. That ball is thrown underneath. Again, it's Tolbert Bain, the man over there. They apparently want to pick on Bain because they threw the ball to Swanson that time, right in front of Bain. But Bain's 6'2", 190, and has pretty good speed.
Keith, let's look at one of the big matchups in the ball game. 98 Jerome Brown, which just personally destroyed Oklahoma, is trying to rush inside. Galbraith reaches in and grabs him a little bit with the right hand, and
got away with it.
Yeah, got away with it.
3rd down and 10. You got McGee and Clinkscales toward the bottom of the picture. Dickey's pass is thrown underneath to McGee. McGee's going to have a first down as he comes to the 49-yard line. When you have a man of the quality of Tim McGee with his great speed coming across the middle, it's terrifying, and he was no more than a step and a half from being long gone.
McGee caught 50 passes last season, consensus All-American, and as Keith said, he's doubly quick. When he's even, he's leaving, Keith. There's no question about it. He's coming across right. Blades, number 36, also of world-class speed, who's a state champion in the 440 in high school. Hadn't been his speed, he might have scored.
First down Volunteers. They're up on their own 49. Miami leading 7-0. First quarter, you've got 7 minutes to go in the first period. Darrell Dickey quick to the sidelines to Swanson. Swanson is nailed hard, but he's got 6 yards as he catches the ball at the Miami 45. Tolbert Bain brought him down, and here's Tim Brent.
Keith, because this is an indoor coliseum, it is holding the noise. It is deafening down here on the field. So as you watch Darrell Dickey, he is using hand signals instead of audibles to tell the receivers what to run, what patterns to run. They're using hand signals now.
And apparently he wanted some verification, Timmy, because he had just called timeout. We got a Tennessee man, it's a Miami man down on the field. So that may be charged here to Miami. We're still waiting for word on the injured Miami player. They put a splint on his leg, and it is Kevin Fagan. Here's what Jimmy Johnson says about Vinny Testaverde.
As far as Vinny Testaverde, he's the best football player in the country. I think because of what he accomplished in the big ball games, Vinny Testaverde played like the best player in the country.
Well, he may well be. And if not this year, how about next year? But I think there's something here. I want to get this in, Frank, that Kevin Fagan, who was an All-American himself, has just apparently re-injured a leg. They've had to strap him up and carry him off the field, and what a heartbreaking experience that is. The ball is down near the Miami 45 at 2nd down and 4. Dickey in trouble, flips the ball outside to Powell. Powell eludes 1 and 2 and picks up a yard.
This is the first time that we've seen Tennessee use the option play. This is Fagan right here. As Keith has already mentioned, he was an All-American player, played on the national championship team of 2 years ago. He's missed most of this season with a back injury and a leg injury. Weighs about 260, and he's a key man in this defense and rushing the Tennessee quarterback, Darrell Dickey.
3rd down, a long 3 for Tennessee at the Miami 44. Darrell Dickey getting some pressure, gets it away. Clinkscales, no. It is Swanson, and Eric can't get to it as Don Ellis covered him like a blanket going deep. Eric Swanson came into Tennessee from San Bernardino Junior College, 185 and 5'11", and brings up 4th down and the long 3, and Tennessee will punt it.
Well, Tennessee did use about 7 minutes off of the clock. 6 or 7 minutes at least. They didn't get the touchdown, but they're going to end up with good field position as far as Miami being backed up.
Jim Asman is in to punt this one, not Garman. No pressure. Knuckleballs it downfield. A fair catch is called. Miami will have the ball just outside the 12. Here's Tim Brent.
Keith, it is Fagan's right knee. He injured it. He said he was blocking. He got a lot of pressure, and then somebody fell on the outside of his leg, and it caved in. They're going to tape it with ice, and he's going to sit out the rest of the first half. They will check it out at halftime and see the extent of the injury, but it doesn't look like he's going to be back. It is his right knee, and it caved to the inside when he was hit.
That's bad news.
Keith, going back to Tennessee now, we're going to have to get a chance to see if they're going to have the courage to blitz again and cover man for man, roll the dice, or will they give up after that easy touchdown pass to Mike Irvin early in the first quarter.
The spot of the football is out near the 13, where the Hurricane will go first down. They come with Williams and Highsmith, the setbacks behind Vinny Testaverde, double wide, top of the picture. Tennessee bouncing around. Miami gives the ball to Highsmith, and Highsmith pops it up near the 15. That's a pickup of about 2.5 yards.
Mark Hovanek, number 59, Keith, is one of the pleasant surprise for Tennessee. They tried him at linebacker, they tried him at tight end, and finally moved into defensive tackle, and he's become a star. Right there was a beautiful example of how to whip the guard, number 73 at Lechner, and move it over, what do we say, whip the blocker, find the football, and make the tackle. That's what he did.
Highsmith has left the football game, dragging an ankle. Mel Bratton has come in. Bratton had the big play on 4th and 4. And back goes Testaverde to throw to the sideline. The pass is good to Willie Smith. Miami at their own 24. They lead 7-0. 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. And flags and whistles stop it.
Keith, Tennessee is not backing off. Right now they're lined up in what might be a 9-man rush. If they can't rush with 6, come back with 7. If you can't rush him with 7, come back with 8.
There are your officials. We gave you the referee and the umpire, Buddy Coleman, Don George, George Sladsky, Bo Hicks, and Ron Murphy, making up the rest of the Southwest Conference crew. Penalty against Miami. I tell you, all this movement by the Tennessee defense is a little unsettling to Miami, too.
Watch.
Fagan has ligament damage, we're told. He, I think, is through. There's a football player at Miami. Testaverde's pass is downfield. Almost intercepted and then almost caught by Warren Williams.
Keith, that could have been disastrous for Tennessee. You called it right. The ball was thrown up for Blades, it looked like, and it was overthrown. Testaverde gets the ball a little bit high. I think Tennessee's trying to make him move a little bit rather than just stay perfectly still in the pocket. The Blades, number 9, he goes over, and had Williams, number 24, been a little more alert, he would have had clear sailing for a touchdown.
Second down, 15.
Safety blitz.
Williams bounces off one of his own men, bounces outside, and fights his way up just over the 25. So he picks up about 6 yards on that carry. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
The Miami Hurricanes are a very young football team. Starters by class, only 3 seniors. This team has won 10 in a row, been very, very impressive since the Florida game, the opening season game that they lost. They're going to be strong next year.
The thing that impresses me about them is they win big games on the road.
See, that's the makings of a lot of character and a lot of leadership to win on the road.
Call it 3rd down and 8, just over the 25. Testaverde lofts it into the seat. Little mix-up that time with Irvin. Irvin broke it off, and Testaverde wanted him to go on down the sidelines on a fly.
Well, Keith, what it was, a stop and go. Irvin's going to stop right up here. He's going to pull up right here. Now he's going to pull up right here. trying to get the halfback to come up and play him, but McDaniels, number 87, wouldn't let him get by him. It's a little bit close to being interference. Could have been called. The Miami people are booing right now, but it was a stop and go, and the McDaniel got away with a play.
Eagles in to punt. Kramer deep for Tennessee. Eagles should hit it around his 15 or 16. Oh, some pressure on him, and there's a flag. Tennessee just made a terrible mistake. They came flying in trying to block it, and Charles Benton got all kicker and no ball, and it's going to be first down Miami.
Well, Keith, if it's running in the kicker, it's a 5-yard penalty. It's according to what the referee calls. I think this is roughing the kicker because with his foot still in the air, he hits him across the leg. I don't believe you can call that running. I believe that's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down, but that's a referee's judgment call. Tennis.
It's 15.
Yeah, this is 2 mistakes, Keith, by the special team of Tennessee. I saw Tennessee work on 2 days ago on the kicking game for an hour and a half, trying to win the game of the kicking, win the battle of the kicking game, something that Johnny Majors has done so many times this year. Now he's made 2 costly mistakes.
I don't know why in the world that Tennessee man didn't at least realize the ball was gone and make some effort to avoid him, but he didn't. He just kept boring right into it. And it's a 15-yard call, and it's just outside the 40 where it's first down Miami, and Testaverde on first down going to put it up down to the sidelines. Speed against speed. It is incomplete, intended for Irvin, and coverage by Andre Kramer. That time, Kramer, the sophomore from Baltimore, hung in there and won over the redshirt freshman from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Irvin, number 47, is a premier receiver. 6'2", 205 pounds, running a deep pattern against Kramer, number 1, not ordinarily a starter, playing for the injured Tommy Sims, a senior, in this ball game. The ball slightly underthrown. It was turned out to be just a jump ball, and Kramer went up and won the battle.
That is second down 10. 3:59 to go, first quarter. Got a little officiating over there from number 54, Dale Jones. He kept pointing to that right side of the Miami line that big tackle's moving, and sure enough, he got the referee's attention.
Keith, I think it was the tight end right next to the right tackle. Yeah, Dale Jones pointed to it, and the official saw him move, and the rule says the play is over. Dead ball, 5-yard penalty. This is kind of a funny deal, fans. Watch this. Number 54. Hey, wait a minute. Watch that. Look at there. Mr. Official, look at there. Look at that. Wait a minute. Right there. Left-handed and right-handed. Attaboy. Now the official's right on target. You got to have a little fish ain't to go with it, Keith.
I guess so. That's the 5th penalty in the ball game. We've had some flags flying. It's second down and 15 now as Miami comes back to the 35. Ball goes to Williams. Williams, great change of pace as he turns it upfield for about 6 yards. He's a tough-looking runner. You know, he's a youngster. Sophomore, 205 pounds, but he's got 2 or 3 gears, doesn't he?
He does, Keith. He's the best north-south runner that Miami has. But Testaverde is not only, as you look at these numbers that this young man has come in this year, they're just outstanding, but he's more than a strong arm. He's more than an accurate arm. He has the touch. He has the willingness to work, and his teammates really believe in him.
3rd and 9. He's got some people to help him. He throws it underneath to Bratton, and the pass is incomplete. There's a penalty flag laying over there on the 40-yard line.
One thing that Testaverde does, like most quarterbacks, Keith, when he scrambles out of the pocket, a right-handed quarterback likes to roll to the right.
Flipping. Miami. Well, that Tennessee scrambling, shuffling defense now is causing Miami some trouble.
Hovanek, number 59, plays right tackle. We've already talked about the great year, 8 sacks he's had. Now the right tackle is Bert DeSella is blocking him right there. Now back, Bratton grabs a hold of him, and Hovanek just falls down right there, and Testaverde rolls out to his right. As I said, most right-hand quarterbacks prefer to scramble to the right. They feel more comfortable throwing in that when they roll in that direction. Now Tennessee can refuse the penalty and force the punt. But they're not. They're going to take the penalty.
Well, it's clipping. It's 15 yards. That's right.
In the old days, that'd be a good call, Keith, but against Testaverde, I'm not sure I'd want to do that. I believe I'd rather get the ball. But
this is from, your penalty is from the spot of the foul, isn't it?
yes, it was a full 15 yards right at the line of scrimmage. Miami has speed at the wide receivers, a clutch receiver at tight end, big, strong backs. They've got all the weapons to go with Testaverde.
3rd down and 25. Back he goes. All day. Now runs out of time and is thrown down. Back on the 11-yard line.
I changed my mind.
Richard Brown did it.
That was a good call, Keith. Yeah, he should have taken that penalty.
Stop it.
When you can sack the quarterback. They've just got to make Testaverde move around a little bit. Let's see what happened. It wasn't a blitz, Keith. It was just primarily 3 or 4 men rushing, but the backs had done such a good job of covering the receivers that number 99, Anthony Howard.
No, it's Richard Brown.
Richard Brown, number 98, I'm sorry, just kept pushing through there and made the play.
Tennessee ought to get pretty good field position out of this now. Fagel steps quickly out of the end zone, hits a kick that's going to come down to Kramer at the 46 of Tennessee, dances his way back into Miami territory, and goes down at the Hurricanes' 41-yard line. So the Tennessee Volunteers now, 1st down at the Miami 41. Odd set of numbers on that last possession by Miami, Frank. Our statistician Dave Burnson notes that Miami's possession started and ended on their own 13-yard line, and in between all of that, they had 11 plays.
Good gracious. The Tennessee defense, though, had to gain some confidence from that last possession.
Keith Davis is the I-back now from the 41 of Miami, and he's got it. Keith Davis, a freshman, bolting down close to a 1st down. They'll mark him at the 33.
George Maurer, the middle linebacker of Miami, is the leading tackler, 135, the son of the former great quarterback. He's the one that patrols number 45, takes on the son of Kirk right there. Now what happens as Keith Davis, number 28, comes flying by, Maurer reaches out of that right hand and barely gets him down right there.
2nd down to Tennessee. Davis again. Cuts it back, and he is hammered down right at the line of scrimmage. Boy, that was a good, hard hit by Victor Morris, a junior from Deerfield Beach, Florida. He is number 90.
Keith, the Miami linebackers line up about 3.5 or 4 yards deep. And they're all three what Jimmy Johnson likes to refer to them as hitmen.
3rd down and 3 now. Dickey, a little quick pop to the sidelines. Good for the 1st down at the Miami 29-yard line, making the catch, Clinkscale.
The timing has to be perfect when you throw the little quick pass, because if it's delayed just a fraction of a second, it's an interception. 1-on-1, change the play at the line of scrimmage. Number 18, Fulton, is right there on top of you. The pass had to be perfectly timed to make even the 4 yards.
Back up, please.
Darrell Dickey, 64% completion, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. Looks pretty good throwing those short passes, Keith. Got a lot of courage.
Davis and Howard in the backfield. Zipped by Dickey. Caught inside the 10 by Tim McGee.
Tim McGee lined up inside in the twin set. He's going down on the safety man. Dickey pumps to the right and then throws a perfect pass, good touch, right in between Blades, the safety man, and Ellis, number 29. Here's McGee, 50 receptions, All-American, outstanding speed, right? Perfect timing. Receiver in that position has to block out everybody else on the field. He just feels like he's out there by himself because he knows he's going to get hit.
It's 1st down and goal, Volunteers at the Miami 7-yard line. Davis to about the 6. Brought down by Jerome Brown, number 98. You might want to put your eye on number 98 in the white shirt, because he'll keep you entertained.
You can't miss him. He's about 6'3", 280 pounds. Just an All-American football player. Virtually impossible for one man to block him. The center, Kirk, tried to. No good.
First quarter is over. Tennessee is threatening as Miami leads 7-0. It was in the 5th game of the season. This young man, Tony Robinson, the starting quarterback for Tennessee, went down with a severe knee injury. One of the most exciting players in the country. That's when Tennessee's offensive team had to change its personality from a gambling type to a conservative possession type. That's where Darrell Dickey took over. It's 2nd down and goal from the 6-yard line. Pressure zone. Dickey cuts away. Man all alone. Jeff Smith, touchdown. Carlos Revez for the extra point try out of Randy Sanders' hole. Joel Farmer the snap. High snap. Hold is good. Kick is good. And so in the opening play of the 2nd quarter, the Tennessee Volunteers with Dickey mobile rolling out. Finds Smith, and we're even at 7.
The play is all Darrell Dickey. The rush, the blitz is on. No one blocks the quarterback coming in. Dickey retreats, and he finds Clinkscale wide open. No, I'm sorry, Jeff Smith wide open for the touchdown.
It's a tight end, Frank. I keep telling you, the tight end.
The tight end's wide open. But McVay coming from the right wasn't touched. Dickey was quick. How can a quarterback dodge a man like that? Quarterback is standing still, and the defensive end is rushing. Now let's see how Smith got so wide open. Swanson is trying to get inside, and
a pick. He's being held.
81. Smith gets outside of him, is wide open. I don't know who's supposed to be covering. No one really, it could have been a pick, but really no one was covering Smith, and he was wide open for the touchdown. But give all the credit to Darrell Dickey for avoiding the rush and laying the ball out, finding the receiver, laying it out for the touchdown. Keith, the first half of this first quarter was all Miami. The second half of this first quarter was all Tennessee.
Well, the Hurricanes made it look so easy that first time. It was almost deceptive, I think. But now Tennessee plugging back, fighting back, and they pulled even at 7. J.C. Penney is the deep man for Miami. And he's a yard deep in the end zone, and he's coming. Penalty flags all over the field as Penney comes out to about the 23.
Usually when you see penalty flags like this, it's blocking below the waist of some kind on a kickoff return. In college, you cannot block below the waist. It's holding on this particular one, but it's very difficult since you cannot block below the waist. It's hard to get the good blocks on kickoff returns.
You had a quorum on the call because there were 4 flags down.
It must have been very obvious, or there were 3 or 4 I'm holding, one or the other. Now let's see what Testaverde can do, Keith. He got rushed and could not hit the wide receiver when he was rushed, and then when they covered, he couldn't find the receiver.
Hey, one thing about the big guy, though, from Elmont, New York, he does not discourage.
No, he doesn't, Keith, and he has worked so hard. Jimmy Johnson was telling me that Testaverde spends as much time in the weight room as his linebackers and defensive ends, and Jimmy Johnson is really upset about something.
Well, it's the 5th Miami penalty. That's one reason, but secondly, I don't think he agreed with the holding call as it was made. But nonetheless, it is Miami's ball, first down, back on the 14, 1st and 10. Highsmith is back in the backfield, and he's got it, and he moves it just over the 20.
One thing that Miami is going to try to do, Keith, is run. Here's Jimmy Johnson. He's really upset. What happened? Oh, good gracious. That's how you call things like that. Don't be so picky. I can hear him right now. But Miami wants to run straight at Tennessee's stunts. Tennessee's doing a lot of stunning. The best play is to run right at them and let them take themselves out of the play.
Alonzo Highsmith picked up 6, 2nd down and 4. It's Alonzo again with the ball, and he turns the corner, puts the helmet down, and rattles right into Andre Kramer. And it seems like everything in the ballpark is going to Kramer's side so far.
Kramer's playing the left cornerback, and Miami runs about 65 to 70% of their plays to the right. They're being a right-handed team. Most teams do that, Keith. They're right-handed if their quarterback is right-handed. Easier to run, hold the ball to the right than it is running awkward to the left.
First quarter, Orange Bowl score. Penn State leading Oklahoma 7-0. Here we are tied at 7-7. With Miami, Penn State, Oklahoma all laying claim possibly to a national championship. Ball is given away to Darrell Oliver with a very sore back. Darrell trying to play some. They need him because he's very good, but he could not bounce that one outside and get much out of it.
What we're seeing, the previous possession by Miami, they threw every down, virtually every down. Tennessee covered them. Now they're going back and saying, if you want to cover us, we'll run the ball right at you. They feel like they can win either way. You choose what the defense wants to defend, we'll do the opposite.
Second down and 9 for the Hurricanes. Perriman and Brown, the wide receivers, and on second down, Testaverde throws it underneath. The ball caught by Perriman. He's knocked down up around the 33-yard line. Tim Brent.
Keith, Tennessee defensive coordinator Kenny Donahue worked overtime with his defense preparing for this ball game and put in an entire new blitz package. He swore the players and the coaches to secrecy. 7 or 8 new blitzes. They've also been going to 5 and 6 defensive backs. And one of the Miami foes that they really focused in was Florida State because they sacked Testaverde 7 times in that game. Thus far, Tennessee's had good success. They're causing problems.
And they're even at 7 in the second quarter. It's third down and 4. Back goes Vinny. Underneath, broken up, pass intended for Smith. And Smith has the ball knocked out by Darren Miller, and he's beeping some.
But the official called pass interference on the far side, came all the way across from the hash mark to call pass interference.
Well, there was a man looking right at it on this side, and he didn't call it.
You're exactly right, Keith. The little fellow there is talking to the referee, came all the way across from the far side and called pass interference. He's the one who had his back to the receiver. Let's see if we can tell what happened right over the middle. Testaverde is coming underneath. Number 45.
I can't
Darren
tell
Miller.
if he's got contact underneath. Both hands were up. I can see that.
Very, very picky call.
It's a first down for the Canes. Ball is up on the 37. Going on first down, backside pressure, gets his pass away. It's caught for a first down. Picked up by Andre Brown, a redshirt freshman, and caught at about the 48.
Tennessee was playing very soft. They were only rushing 4 people. Brown had plenty of time. Testaverde's arm is so strong, normally gets that ball to the corner very quick. Hovanek, number 59, 8 sacks. One of the big play defensive linemen that they expect to have a good game. Comes close to getting Testaverde before he threw the ball. Mark Hovanek, just a sophomore.
Now Miami moving it. Score is 7-7 with 12 and a half minutes to go in the first half. He's checking off, changing the play. Tennessee trying to blitz it. Goes to Alonzo Highsmith outside. Run down at the line of scrimmage. Is that ball alive? Yeah, they've called it alive. Can you believe it? I thought he was down, but I saw the official over there. He kept watching the ball and moving with the ball, and suddenly Tennessee realized that the black flame thing was alive, and Hovanek jumped on it.
Well, Keith, you called it perfectly. I'm not sure what happened. It looked like Highsmith was on the ground. Let's see. No, the ball is out, rolling on the ground, right there. And Tennessee players trying to get it. Hovanek couldn't hold it. It rolls out. Now the Tennessee, the umpire over here called a foul. We look at it again, but there's a double foul over here against Tennessee bench, I believe. No, it's against Miami. I guess for saying something. Miami.
Well, I don't blame Miami for saying something because I still, after looking at the replay, I thought the ball was down. Now, who owns the football?
Tennessee owns the football, I believe.
But they're going to be penalized for what?
I don't know. The official on this side, after the referee called the ball, it's going to be 1st and 25, Keith. That's what it is, 1st and 25. They've set the chains. Somebody yelled from the bench. Something happened from the bench, I believe.
Dead ball. Non-contact foul on the offense. First down and 25.
Keith, that
Still
usually
doesn't tell
comes.
me anything.
No, that comes from the bench. Let's watch Havanek right here, number 59, how he strips the ball out. Right there with that right hand, comes in, knocks the ball out. It's a good call. Officials are right on top of that.
All right, now watch Highsmith come down on top of the ball. That's when I thought it was dead, but not so. And big turnaround here as Tennessee has it first down and 25 at their own 39, and Dickey back to throw. Better hurry. Didn't have time as Dan Stubbs, the leading sack man for the Hurricanes, came flying around to get him. And here's Tim Brandt.
I just talked to some of the coaches that are over here where the referees came over to explain the call. They said the penalty was for spiking the ball after the play. That's where they tagged on the penalty against Tennessee.
Good gracious.
Spiking the ball.
Yeah, it's a penalty, Keith. But Tennessee got too excited when they picked the ball up. They spiked it.
The loss is back to the 32. Now they've got about a quarter of a mile to go as Dickey again drops to throw. Trying to set up a screen, and the ball is slapped away, and Stubbs turns Dickey upside down.
The Tennessee turnovers has been truly remarkable. They have plus 21, lead the nation in turnover margin. You can see that the opponents had 37, 16 for Tennessee, a plus 21. And the thing that Johnny Majors told me, he talked about that. That's good coaching, good concentration, and a lot of luck too, Keith.
Third down and 32 for the Volunteers. Miami now with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defensive backs are going to run the ball. Give it to Keith Davis. Davis gets it up over the 40, up to the 42, and there is another penalty flag, and I think Tennessee's flagged for either illegal use of the hands or holding, one or the other.
Umpire dropped the flag. We're having a lot of penalties similar to the Alabama
Aloha Bowl. The first half was just terrible. It was nothing but a parade of striped shirts.
Well, this crew is taking over the ball game too.
That's the 10th penalty of the ball game. We've got 11 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the first half. I don't know if they're fouling. I guess they're fouling.
We have neutral officials in all bowl games except the Rose Bowl now. The Rose Bowl still has a split crew of Big Ten and Pac-10. These officials are from the Southwest Conference, and so are the ones in the Aloha Bowl.
Do you, I don't think there's that much disparity in interpretation of football rules.
There's interpretation of the holding penalty
I suppose, yeah.
around, Keith. I think some conferences are more strict on the illegal use of the hands, which
I know there's a lot of
I
squawking in
support.
snake pits in basketball, but not so much in football.
Well, Tennessee has about, 50 yards?
42.
42 to go. Run the draw play again, or screen and punt it.
Yeah, get rid of it. This possession's going backwards. Get rid of that thing. They're still trying to hook up with that screen pass, get it over here to McGee, and McGee is level. Timmy had no chance. And so now it'll be fourth down for Tennessee.
Keith, the Tennessee problem started with a spiking of the football. Instead of having the ball in Miami territory, they're punting from their 18.
It's 4th and 45, and they better hurry up and get it out of there, and they do. And it's Perriman back at the 39, and they hem him in and put him down at the 44. So it's a 42-yard punt and a 5-yard return. 7-7 ball game, 10-13 to go first half. Johnny Majors, the forthright fellow, coaching at his alma mater, says this about how he'd like to try to beat Miami.
I think to beat Miami, we're going to have to win the kicking game. I think we're going to have to win the turnover ratio, have a few more breaks go our way, and have to keep the ball some away from Miami's offense if we're going to win the ball game.
Johnny, of course, an All-American tailback at Tennessee. Finished second in the Heisman voting back in the mid-50s to Paul Hornung. Testaverde turned. I think you had some movement over there on the top side of the line from the Miami Hurricane.
One of the things, Keith, that causes so many penalties in this dome is you cannot hear the quarterback. Remember the Penn State-Alabama game when Bear was complaining so? His team got about 7 or 8 motion penalties. You cannot hear the quarterback. Finally, Bear just said, snap the ball, you linemen, wait till the defense move, and then you move. Trying to avoid the offside penalties, motion penalties.
That's the 11th flag. Miami's had 6 and
Dead
Tennessee
ball,
5.
false start, offense, first down.
So instead of 1st and 10, it's 1st and 15 for the Canes, back at their own 39 at a 7-7 tie. This is Oliver, and he's got a problem at the 35. Problem was led by Richard Brown, number 98. Now, it's 2nd down and 15-19.
9-man blitz, Keith, they're all up there.
And Testaverde's back. He's got him in man, but the pressure's on, and they got him. Back inside the 15. Dale Jones led it. Boy, the Big Orange was the Big Orange that time as they just came pouring in on Vinny Testaverde.
Dale Jones, 54, out-quicks the offensive tackle right there. Two other teammates are on top of Testaverde. A 9-man all-out, roll the dice type of a blitz, something that we saw West Virginia do against Doug Flutie last 2 years ago, I guess it was.
Well, that's a loss of 20, Frank. The defenses are gaining more yards than the offenses in this quarter.
Well, Ken Donahue, we know what he can do with a defensive front like Tennessee has.
They run a draw play with Highsmith carrying on 3rd down and a half a mile, and Alonso gets out across the 20 near the 21, and now Miami will kick it.
Keith, I watched some of the practice 2 days ago, and I saw that 9-man blitz coming. And I said, Johnny, you've got more guts than I've got. He said, Frank, we got no other chance. We've got to give him some all-out blitzes to try to get Testaverde out of that routine and timing that he has the rhythm.
Out comes Jeff Fiegels, 42-yard punt previously.
They're still trying to block one. Florida State blocked 2.
Yeah, they duck out of there and get a little peel back here. Kick is to Kramer at the 39. Dodges one, gets a little help. Now the pursuit's going to catch him, and he actually would have been better off if he'd just put his head down and gone straight on south instead of running sideways. He winds up losing a yard on the return. Bruce Fleming, Miami's long snapper and very fine outside backer, was shaken up on that last play, but he got up, walked off the field all right, so we certainly hope he'll be all right. He's a very important person for the Hurricanes. Right now, Tennessee, 1st down, near their own 38-yard line, 7-7 ball game. Dickey back to throw, puts the pass, and it is incomplete. It was apparently intended for Tim McGee, but it was underthrown by about 5 yards and bounced in front of Don Ellis.
I think Tim McGee and Darrell Dickey were confused as to what the pass was. Darrell threw the ball as a quick post route running inside, and McGee kept going down the boundary as if it was a bomb or takeoff.
If he'd have laid it up there and let him run under it, it'd have been 6. Keith Davis to about the 42. That's a pickup of 4. 3rd down, 6 coming up. 7.5 minutes to go, 1st half.
I think both coaches and staffs have finally realized his tactics and strategy. We're going to have to run the ball some, of the defensive linemen are going to just tee off and give the passes a hard time. Here's Keith Davis, who's the best ever for a Tennessee freshman, rushing 684, and he's also the first freshman ever to lead Tennessee in rushing.
3rd down and short 6 as they go to 3 wideouts. Miami tees off and Dickey takes off. He's got a chance at his 1st down. He's got his 1st down. He is at the Miami 47-yard line.
Darrell Dickey. Oh, how proud everyone is of him. His daddy, outstanding coach in Tennessee and Florida. 24 years old, 5th-year senior. Look at him sidestep. Look at those moves. His daddy couldn't do that. I'll guarantee you that. I coached his daddy. He couldn't do that at all.
Well, he's one of 2 5th-year seniors that had their patience rewarded this year. The other is Chris White. There's that little lofted pass down the sidelines, trying to let Eric Swanson run under it, but Don Ellis covered him up.
Once again, Tennessee picked up, Keith, the blitz and tried to go deep with it. Just couldn't connect. Here's Miami, only 43 yards passing in the first quarter. That is way below their average. That's right. We're halfway through the second quarter. That's current. I'm wrong. That's just unbelievable, and you give credit to the Tennessee defensive strategy of rushing Testaverde.
Second down and 10 for the Vols. Dickey back, setting up a screen here that does not produce a whole lot. Charles Wilson, who has labored with injuries all season long and was the leading ball carrier last year for Tennessee, getting into the ball game and gets the ball down to about the 44, and it'll be third down and 7. The Miami offense, to go back to the point that was made a moment ago, totals 69 yards. There have been 45 yards in penalties, so their net is only 24 yards.
It's a strange football game, much different than any of us expected.
Third down and 7. Dickey back, has time, pumps it, throws it, and it is incomplete. Oh, I tell you, that could be Benny Blades has got a shirt, a handful of shirt on Tim McGee, and there's an official looking right at it and didn't call it.
I don't believe anybody on the Miami team other than Benny Blades, number 36, could cover man for man. Here's Benny Blades right there, reaches out and grabs him. Then McGee gets away from him. Both of them have just world-class speed. Then Benny hits him again, a little bit of a tackle. Then he gets his hand out in front and knocks it down.
Oh, well.
Well, get away with a few things.
Jim Asman in to punt. High snap. He's trying to kill it deep, and he's got a dandy chance here as the ball is way up there, and it forces a fair catch call by Brett Perryman. And Perryman is standing inside the 15. It'll be Miami's ball at their own 12. There's your score and time remaining. First half. Miami comes up first down at their own 12. 77,432 watching. And Testaverde sets him and drops to throw. Standing inside his 5, winds up and lets her rip. And it is incomplete. Intended for Brian Blades. Defending on the play, little Victor Peppers.
How about that? Victor Peppers, number 8, who would not be starting, except Terry Brown had an injured foot on Monday's practice. Blades has the leading yardage per reception per catch for Miami, 21 yards, touchdowns of 32, 35, 72, and 82 yards. But the ball underthrown, and 5'6" Peppers goes up and knocks it away.
Victor's the guy that UCLA victimized in their comeback to get that 26-all tie in the opening game of the season. Testaverde turns, gives to Williams. And Williams is up to about the 16-yard line before Warren is knocked down. So it'll be third down and long now for the Hurricanes.
One thing that's very impressive about the Tennessee defense, Keith, is the ability to tackle an open field. Kelly Ziegler, the linebacker, was all alone on an island, and he made the tackle on that last play. Otherwise, it would have been a big game.
Third down and 6. They'll throw. No pressure. To the sidelines and batted down by Andre Kramer. Intended for Willie Smith, and Kramer comes up with another big play.
Kramer's inside this time, Keith. He's covering man for man. Play action fake, doesn't fool anybody. Kramer's covering that tight end. He's running, he's racing, and he makes a great effort right here. Gets his hand out in front, denying the reception. Had he been able to pick it off, it would have been 6 points for Tennessee.
In to punt, Fiegels. Jeff, third punt of the day. Miami, 1 of 7 on their third down conversion tries so far in this game. 10 orange shirts up there. They don't go, they peel back, and it's a low line drive kick. Taken by Kramer, and he's still running around. Finally gets back across midfield to the Miami 49. Tennessee in the middle of the field with a football, 7-7 tie at 4:44 to go, first half. Turnovers, just like bases on balls, they'll drive you crazy. Talking with Jimmy Johnson yesterday, we talked about turnovers.
They get turnovers. They get opportunities for their offense. On the other side, Tennessee turns the ball over so few times. They only had 16 turnovers in 11 games. They led the nation in turnover ratio, and that's the biggest concern I have. We have got to avoid the turnovers. We've got to keep our turnovers to a minimum.
So far they have. Ball is right at midfield. First down, Volunteers, 7-7 tie. And Dickey hands the ball off. And this is Jeff Powell. And Powell hits down to the 44, and a penalty flag comes flying from the side man way over here on the side.
That looks like a face mask of some kind.
I think so.
Either 5 yards or 15, according to whether it's just...
Or spearing.
Face. Spearing is right.
I think it's spearing.
That's 15 yards. Piling on or spearing after the ball carrier is down. That's a break for Tennessee because it puts them way down. Jerome Brown, number 98, big, strong, All-American. He can whip that blocker by getting above him, Keith. That's against our theory.
Foul.
He doesn't have to
Defense.
stay below.
First down.
He shucks the center and comes over and makes the play. 278 pounds.
It's
Jerome
amazing,
Brown.
though, when you see that particular official make that call, you almost know it's going to be that because he's about the only one that's got a good look at it from that angle, and he was right on it. And it's first down. Ball comes inside the 30. The pitch comes back to Powell, and he cuts it back inside. He only weighs 170 pounds. It is second down and 10. The ball is at the 29 of Miami. Dickey options it down the line to Powell, trying to get outside. Gets partway around the corner, but number 32, Selwyn Brown, finally ran him off the field. Here's Timmy.
I'm trying to stay up on this marvelous job that Tennessee is doing defensively and helping out their offense. Now, we talked about the defensive backs with Creamer playing one side and Peppers playing the other because their 2 starters, most experienced secondary men, are hurt. Well, what they do on their nickel package when it is second and long or third and long and you know that Testaverde's going to throw is they move Creamer inside to safety, bring in Terry McDaniel, go to the nickel back. That's why we saw Creamer inside and knock that pass down on that last series.
I think I understand what you said. Third down and 6. There goes Powell. This time he's got some daylight inside the 10, down to about the 9, maybe the 8.
Keith, it's worth mentioning again. You've already talked about it, but Powell is a senior playing 1 year of football, transferred from William and Mary, number 21, to run track. He went out for football in the spring. Johnny Majors had 1 scholarship left and gave it to him. Now Howard, number 35, blocks the key man, but there's the speed. Blades missing the tackle, and finally Fullerton bringing him down.
Not Bain.
Bain with
Robert
19,
Bain.
18. Yeah, 18.
Yeah, he's had a heck of a ball game. Here he goes again, up the middle, touchdown. Nope, they don't give it to him. One guy has marked the ball. One official has marked the ball short of the goal line.
And he will prevail.
Yes, he will, because he threw the beanbag long before that ball squirted loose and the celebrating started.
Well, I think he will prevail, but he's not going to prevail. It's going to be a touchdown. Here again, young man Powell, right here. What a hole. Miami trying to rush the pass and going up.
Oh,
the
I
ball
see why the ball fumbled.
No way he could have called the ball.
He marked it there. See him mark it with a beanbag.
But his back
didn't see the ball come out.
No, he didn't see the ball. The runner's back was facing him, to him.
Tim McGee got the recovery and the touchdown. I didn't see it come out either, frankly, until it was already rolling around. I thought by then they'd whistled it dead, but not so. Clearly a fumble into the end zone, clearly a recovery by McGee. Tennessee leads it. The extra point try is good. 3 minutes and 28 seconds to play in the first half. The Tennessee Volunteers lead the Miami Hurricanes 14-7.
Here is the play for the touchdown. The Miami defensive linemen, look at the natural hole right there because the Miami linemen are charging up the field. Now Powell, number 21, has the ball knocked out right there. As Keith said, clearly goes across the goal line. And the amazing thing is that Tennessee has enough hustle. Normally the defense would be around there, Keith, and recover. But there are 2 or 3 orange shirts there. The Miami defense were not alert. They should have been around and had a chance to have it.
Give McGee the TD and Tennessee the lead at 14-7.
Look at this stat. Speaking of fumbles, right here, since the first series of the first game of the season, the Tennessee backs have not fumbled and lost the ball.
Well, since Darrell Dickey took over at quarterback, he set a school record of 100 and well, how many passes has he thrown in this? He had thrown 106 consecutive passes without an interception, and he has not had one today. He's put the ball up 19 times today, so there you have it.
The Tennessee offense are just picking the Miami defense apart right now. Don't know how long they can keep doing it.
Penny is 3 yards deep in the end zone and coming. And not a good decision. JC's brought down up around the 17-yard line. So once again, a team has to start inside its 20. The reason for this is Revesz is getting the ball up in the air. He's getting good hang time, long carry, and Tennessee's coverage has been very good so far.
Tennessee, you heard Johnny Majors say that he has to win the battle of the kicking game. And Keith, I repeat, 2 days ago they spent 1 hour and 15 minutes working on all phases of the kicking game. I was impressed.
Well, Jimmy Johnson is worried right now. First down from the 17. Benny Testaverde back. Sets up a screen. Melvin Breton has it. And Mel, a big, strong running back, is up across the 25 to the 26. About a yard short of the first down.
When you're on close to your own goal line, Keith, and the other team are blitzing a lot, use a screen. But one of the most dangerous screens is right up the middle, but it worked for about 9 yards with Bratton catching the ball. The Tennessee scoring drive, 1 minute and 16 seconds for 50 yards. Pretty darn good for them.
Second down and 1 for the Canes. Got Irvin out here, one-on-one. Testaverde might wind up here. He's going to throw. He looks for Irvin. They don't go deep. They go short with it. And they hook up for a first down up around the 34.
Tennessee, with 2:26 on the clock, are playing a little bit looser. They're not gambling quite as much right now, Keith, and I think that's smart football. Only 3 men rushing, a little bit of a twist right there between the tackle, Clipper, and Scott. 1-on-1 coverage, as Keith has already mentioned. And one thing about Testaverde, his arm gets the ball out there and plenty of time for the receiver to catch it and run with the football.
He just burns it.
He burns it. Look how much room is left on the field, but a great tackle there, prevented any additional yardage.
From the 34, first down. There's blitz and a penalty flag. And Williams is still churning. And Warren rams his way across midfield, but let's see about that penalty flag.
They'll bring it back, Keith. That has to be demoralizing to the Miami offense. Penalties, busted plays, great defensive plays by the Tennessee defense. Jimmy's really upset right now. All he's got to do is calm his team down. He's got plenty of time. His team is very capable of scoring many touchdowns. They've been averaging 461 yards a game, and against some good football teams.
Holding, offense, first down.
When you get so many blitzes, Keith, as Tennessee is using, and having success rushing, the tendency for the offensive lineman is to reach out and prevent the sack.
The Canes have been hit with 70 yards of penalties. On first down, Testaverde, deep drop. Again, setting a screen. Again, it's Bratton. Bratton wandering around looking for some help and doing a pretty good job of helping himself out to about the 28-29 yard line. Hovanek finally ran him down. Bratton is 6'1", 215. He's only a sophomore from Miami. Reminds me a lot of George Rogers.
Miami backs are big, Keith, as you just mentioned. Big and strong.
Again, Testaverde back.
3-man rush.
Steps away from the pressure, dances away from some more, throws to Bratton. Bratton steps out of bounds at the 35. That's a pickup of a yard.
That's Testaverde at his best. Moving, still concentrating downfield.
Pickup of 5 yards, not a yard.
We have 1 minute and 15 seconds to go on the clock.
Well, he makes it look so easy.
He keeps his poise.
Yes,
he moves just enough to reset his feet, get his body straight, concentrating downfield, finding the open receiver. This is far below his average. 71 yards and 1 touchdown, 8 out of 14.
He's a half to go. 1:15. to play in the first half. Again, that deep drop. Pass is almost intercepted. Oh, my goodness, Kelly Ziegler almost had 6 points.
Kelly Ziegler played on the same high school team as George Maurer did, Keith. They were the two linebackers down in Miami. But the rush forces Testaverde to throw just a little, move his feet just a little bit, and the ball is underthrown. And you're right, Ziegler got his hand up. If he had gotten two arms up, it could have been an interception. There's Kelly Ziegler, number 49, sophomore linebacker, leading tackler with 101 stops.
All right, Fiegel's out to punt for the fourth time. Creamer is deep. Short kick, but fair hang time, and Andre with a fair catch call up at the 31 with 1:04 to go in the first half. 35-yard punt. Tennessee's ball, first down, just outside their own 30. They lead by 7. Tennessee just outside the 30. Lead 14-7. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining. Darrell Dickey back to throw. Steps away from the pressure. You got a holding call coming up against Tennessee, I bet you. Either that or illegal use of the hands of some kind.
The amazing thing about Darrell Dickey to me, Keith, is his ability to scramble. He's not known for his running ability. They've tried a couple of option plays, which had a chance to give him a big play, something they added just for this ball game. But his ability to avoid the rush and still get the pass off is nothing short of outstanding.
Referee Wendell Shelton walks off the holding call against Tennessee, and it was pretty obvious. And the flag came early on.
Holding. Offense. First down.
And 20. Clink Scales, McGee go wide. 14 flags in this first half for 129 yards against the two teams. Davis, big play by Keith Davis, but a penalty flag
fumble
may
too, Keith.
wipe it out.
Fumble.
The ball comes loose. Miami's claiming it.
Swanson was all sides. He went in motion and turned up just a little bit, Keith. The wide receiver down on the nearest the camera was in motion, and of course Miami will refuse the penalty.
And will own the football. A Tennessee man is down around the 34-yard line. So with 51 seconds to play in the first half, that really could hurt him. It's Keith Davis hurt. Apparently it's Davis. Looks like 28. He was the man carrying the ball. He had a big play out of it. He had about 12, 14 yards. But when he went down onto the pile, ball came loose and he didn't get up.
You can see the number 27 coming in to block the linebacker, jumped the gun just a little bit, and he was all sides. But right there, Blades, number 36, strips that ball, reached in and just pulled it out. First fumble by Tennessee back since the opening drive of the first game of the season.
Davis came off the field, looked like either ankle or knee. And now here's Miami with their best field position of the ball game to start a possession. First down at the Tennessee 33. And Testaverde trying to cash it in a hurry. Throws it to the sidelines to Willie Smith. Good, just short of the first down.
Willie Smith has caught 48 passes this year. Keith has already mentioned 66 last year, which is a school record of 114 career. He's just a junior, has another year to add on to that 114 receptions. By the way, Keith, he was a wide receiver in high school and has outstanding speed and knows how to get open.
Second down, 4. That same alignment had Blades deep and Smith short. Now they come to this side, except it's Blades and Irvin. Irvin short. Ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Cooper, big number 77, 7'6", seemed to be the one. He has batted down 5 passes this year. Let's see, the left of your screen, see if it was Cooper 77. Right there, 6'6", big sophomore tackle. A lot of raw talent. That's the best place. If you can't sack him, just get up in front. And there he jumps up and knocks the ball down. That's his 6th pass broken up break of the season.
Ball at the 26, third down, still 3.5 to 4 yards. 41 seconds. And penalty flags and whistles stop him again.
Offensive tackle Patchen jumped offside. Just anticipated the count early. couldn't wait for the block.
That'll cost them 5.
You know, one thing that Johnny Majors has said
Dead
about
ball.
this team.
Encroachment. Offense. Third down.
Ball is now just inside the Tennessee 32. Testaverde back. Pressure just as he throws. Irvin pulls it in. He's got a first down, and he's inside the 20 at the 19 where he is thrown down. Testaverde took a wallop, but he released the ball just as the contact was made, and he really had something on it to Irvin.
Irvin caught 9 touchdown passes this year. You'll get a good indication how he scored so many. Most of them were runs after the catch. One thing that Miami has done is 50% of their passing yardage, over 3,500 in total, half of that was after the catch. Their receivers have brilliant speed, good runners after they catch the ball.
They don't give him the mark inside the 20. They put him right down on the 20.
Well, Keith, we're down to, 31 seconds. Miami has one timeout left.
Mm-hmm. But 20 yards, that's not a whole lot of real estate for Testaverde and company.
Tennessee rushed only 3 men, Keith, and the amazing thing to me, their twist. They use the twist more than any college team that I've seen, not only this year but any year, where one lineman rushes inside and another rushes behind him. And it's been confusing to the Miami blockers, even though they've had a month to work on it.
14-7, Tennessee's lead now being threatened by the Hurricanes. First down, 31 seconds to go. The ball at the Volunteers 20. And the all-out effort on the blitz. The ball is thrown into the end zone for Breton and knocked away. Incomplete. Victor Peppers did his job.
Coach Ron Zook, the defensive backfield coach, told me that Peppers has had the best practices of anybody on the team. He told Coach me that he was going to plead with Coach Majors and get him to start in place of Terry Brown, who's injured. He's only 5'8". Once again, it's a jump ball situation, but he makes the play, preventing the touchdown.
Second down and 10. Testaverde under pressure in the grass. Down he goes. Ball is rolling around and finally covered. And it's all the way back on the 37-yard line. It's Dale Jones, number 54.
Keith, the one thing Testaverde didn't want to do is get sacked because they were in field goal range, but Dale Jones is the big play man for the University of Tennessee, number 54. Just 26 times this year he's been involved in a big play. There he comes from the left of your screen, grabs the hold of Testaverde. The ball goes down. His knee wasn't down, so it was still a live ball, but then he recovers it barely right there. Did he get it back in time to prevent Tennessee from recovering?
Well, that's the third sack of Testaverde, and those 3 sacks represent a minus 57 yards. Third down. Ball is back at the 37. And Testaverde trying to get a little bit of yardage back for a field goal try. Whips one to the sidelines. It's good at the 31. And the clock stops at 5, and I would imagine Greg Cox will come on. He's got plenty of legs from this distance.
Keith, it'll be 47-yard field goal.
Well, he's hit one from 48 this year, so...
one thing indoors, Keith, you don't worry about the wind.
No.
The ball is lighter. You can kick it a little bit further.
They say it, yeah, it looks closer indoors. I mean, just optically, visually, it's a little different look to you. Jeff Torretta gets it down. It is short. It was about 3 yards short, maybe 2 yards anyway, of crossing the goalposts. And time has run out. And Tennessee, the Southeastern Conference champions, lead the number 2 ranked Miami Hurricanes at the halftime, 14-7. Here's Tim Brandt.
All right, Keith, I had to run all the way to the tunnel to get Johnny back out. This team is really fired up. I'm going to ask you about the emotion of your team first. All the talk of Miami, the national championship. Did they feel slighted? Is that part of the motivation?
No, not really. I think our football team just has a tremendous amount of closeness about them, and they're just playing as well as I can expect them to play in every standpoint except a few too many mistakes. They've just been a great group of young men to be around. It's been a fun team so far. We got a big half ahead of us, Tim.
The defense has been spectacular. Tell us about your new blitz package, some of the different looks you're giving them.
Well, we've had a little time to work on them, and when Ken Donahue and that defensive staff gets together, they've done a great job of getting these young men to play hard, number one. They've done a good job plotting, but the game's not over, Tim.
Okay, Johnny, good luck the second half. Tim Brandt back on the sidelines with Miami head coach Jimmy Johnson. And Jimmy, the first thing I'm going to ask you is about what adjustments you made to pick up some of those blitz packages that they've been throwing at you. It has given you problems.
Well, the thing about it, the crowd noise has bothered us. We can't audible to our entire offense. And so what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to run the football a little bit more. We talked to them about getting more of a rhythm. We're sitting back and we're letting Tennessee take the fight to us, and we're giving them too much time between the plays. And so we're going to run the ball a little bit more, get a little bit more rhythm, take them out some of their blitzes. Plus the penalties just killed us.
What did you tell them at halftime? Was it a loud, vociferous meeting?
No, we just kind of showed them some of the coverages and some of the blitzes that they were using on us, and so that we could recognize them at the line of scrimmage, and then we can go ahead and audible to some of our pass plays. The other thing, too, defensively, we lined up wrong. Like on their touchdown, we did not shift our line the right way.
I'm going to ask you one other question. Penn State is getting beaten. Does that make any difference to you right now?
Makes no difference, man. It didn't make any difference before the ball game started. We got to win this game.
Still believe you're number one.
All right, thank you.
All right, Jimmy. All right, let's go back upstairs. Keith, he said it wasn't a loud locker room. He said he got after the officials a little bit. This team is not in rhythm. It's not in sync. He knows it. They know it. They just got to come out, reestablish the offense, and start playing football.
Halftime stats read this way.
Well, surprisingly that Miami has only 111 yards, have been averaging 460. Tennessee's 69 rushing, 75 passing. Amazing thing that the 98 yards passing for Miami is way below what you would expect for a great team that they are. I think that Tennessee has confused the Miami team enough that they're a little bit tentative, as Jimmy said. They're a little bit cautious, and they've got to somehow gain that momentum again, and running, as he said, is the key way to do it, knocking them out of there.
Tennessee kicks off. J.C. Penney circles under it in the end zone, 5 yards deep, and he's coming. Don't believe that was a good call, because Tennessee has just planted him down on the 10-yard line. Now, let's go back on that riverboat and have a look at some of the defensive folks. Here's big old Richard Cooper, had a good first half, 270 pounds. Bobby Scott, the nose guard. Robbie is 275, and Mark Hovanek, 245. Ron Kimbrough. Dale Jones, big play to close out the first half. Kelly Ziegler, almost a pass interception. Darren Miller working inside for Tennessee. It's first down for Miami. The ball is right on the 10-yard line. And Vinny Testaverde hands the ball to Warren Williams, and he runs it out across the 20 to the 21, and he picks up a first down. The Tennessee secondary consists of Tommy Sims, who did not start. He's injured. Dragon leg. Andre Creamer started for him. Harry Brown did not start either. He's hurt. Victor Peppers got that call. Chris White had 9 interceptions during the season, and Charles Davis is the free safety. So it's first down as Miami gets a little working room now out on their 21. And Testaverde is trying to check it off and change the play, give it to Alonzo Highsmith. And already I think we see a little bit of a change in the philosophy early on by Miami, because they send out their offensive linemen. It's pretty much the same group that started, and they're running the ball right at Tennessee.
Here's 47, Irvin, the wide receiver. Let's see what happened to him on the running play. Wow, Kramer, number 1, grabbed his helmet and pulled it back. It could have been a penalty.
Now Testaverde goes to the pass on second down and 6. Dumps it off to Williams, and Williams picks up a first down. And they're right, that kid can run north and south.
Williams is a 205-pound tailback, the leading rusher for Miami, the only back that they've had rush for over 100 yards. He did this, I guess, against Louisville. Excuse me, did against Colorado State. Here's the rush. Once again, they're forcing Testaverde to move around a little bit, and they say if they can do that, they have a chance. Here, Testaverde didn't want to run it himself. Very wisely, gives it to his best ball carrier. Makes a nice gain.
He does. Got a first down for him. Again, it's Williams carrying. And this time there is a little more solid contact on him as he reaches the 40.
One thing that when you're not playing very effectively, come out and run the football and establish the momentum, establish the lineman hitting somebody, make the defensive lineman of Tennessee stay at home and play more base defense, and that's what Miami's trying to do, to slow the Tennessee rush down.
Second down and 6 as Williams picked up 4 to the Miami 41. Remember, this possession started back on their own 10. On second down, Testaverde gets the heat and gets sacked. He's down inside the 30.
Once again, Tennessee using the surprise blitz. This time, Darren Miller, the linebacker, delays his rush. Watch him over to the right. He comes all the way twisting. No one touches it. Testaverde has no chance. He cannot escape because help, number 55, Kimbrough, comes from the other side. Now remember, Tennessee is playing without their starting cornerbacks. Sims and Brown, starters for 4 years and 3 years respectively, are not in the ball game.
Ball is on the 31-yard line. The 4th sack by Tennessee, minus 62 yards. Testaverde's in trouble again. The ball is loose. It is not an incomplete pass. It is covered by number 74 for the moment. I don't know if he's able to keep control of it.
Keith, I believe it fell out, and the Tennessee got it.
Tennessee's got the ball. Darren Miller covered it for the Volunteers. The Tennessee defense has just absolutely clawed and scratched Miami into a bloody state. And they've forced another turnover.
Keith, that's the twist again. Just 3 men rushing. Finally, 4 men rushing, and finally they hit him from the backside. The arm had not gone up and started forward. Therefore, it's a fumble. Miami thought they had it, but it slipped out of the grasp, and Tennessee recovered.
Rakosi looked like he had it, but it rolled away from him, and now Tennessee trying to cash it in as Gerald Dickey drills it down to the 17-yard line to Tim McGee. And it's good for a first down for the Volunteers, and it's the Miami defense that is in serious trouble right now. Jones is a 270-pound tackle. Jerome Brown is 265. Fagan Hurt out of the ball game now. Winston Moss a backer at 230. Myra a backer at 225, and Fleming a backer at 230. It's first down Tennessee. The ball on the Miami 17. The Volunteers leading 14-7. Trying to take advantage of the turnover. Ball is given away inside. Running is Jeff Powell, and Powell reaches maybe the 13. The defensive secondary for Miami. Don Ellis is the corner. He's played all the way, a redshirt freshman. Colbert Payne has had a good ball game, big at 6'2", 190. Benny Blades in there at 6 feet 205, and Selwyn Brown 5'11" and 190. The Tennessee offense now grinding with the ball. First down at no, not first down. Second down at the 13 of Miami. Second down and 6. Dickey again goes to Powell, and Powell is nailed for a 2-yard loss by George Myra at the 15-yard line.
George Myra patrols the middle. You take your best tackler, put him in the middle, and say, go to the football. Someone who wants to make every tackle. And the hole opened up right in the middle. Myra very wisely fires the gap, penetrates into the offensive backfield, and makes the play.
Tennessee trying to seem to hurry, and then they'll slow down, and hurry, then slow down. Anything to keep Miami a little off balance. So far, they've been able to do it. It is now, however, third down and 8. And Dickey will throw. Steps up away from the pressure. Now throws. Inside the 5. The pass is caught. Good by McGee. First and goal, Volunteers. What a pass by Dickey.
Dickey dodged the rush again and stayed in the pocket. Excuse me, his pocket discipline was good right here. Excellent protection. He steps up, waits. He's looking all the time, but McGee is just fighting for that opening spot right there.
Frank, he's got
and the location of the ball had to be perfect.
3 feet, 3 square feet at the most?
Absolutely. No more than that. McGee isolated on, being covered right there by the defensive back. He comes back to the ball right there, 18. Bain could not break it up in another first down. Tennessee dug Darrell Dickey 14 out of 21. Can a young fifth-year senior upstage a potential Heisman Trophy winner?
First down and goal for Tennessee. The ball at the 3-yard line. The ball is pitched back. It goes to the big man, Sam Henderson. And he's inside the 2, down to the 1. Henderson is 250 pounds, a junior from South Bend, and I think that's all you need to know why he's in the game here. Just pure strength.
Henderson has had a bad knee operation, didn't play last year, but 12 times he's been given the ball to make a first down or a touchdown. He's been successful 9 of them. Right there, very close to the goal line. Good second effort by Henderson, the big fullback.
Well, you certainly see how strong he was. He had about 5 people on his back, and he went for another 3 yards.
Keith, he had those shoulder pads over those toes. Not much room to tackle for the defense.
Tennessee's got to spend a timeout because the 25-second clock was down to 2 as they came up to the ball. So rather than make the mistake and give up 5 yards to penalty, they spend the timeout. You see the location of the ball. There's your time remaining, 3rd quarter. Tennessee's trying to cash in a touchdown here and take a 2 TD lead over favored Miami. Darrell Dickey, the Tennessee quarterback, came out on the field waving his arms at his own partisans. And now it's again trying to get them to shut up so his people can hear what he's trying to tell them. It's 2nd down and goal. It is Henderson. It is touchdown. You know what? Jimmy Johnson's right, Frank. His biggest concern is not national championship, but winning this ball game.
Well, we've seen so many times the favorite team coming into a bowl game and not really being as fired up as the underdog team. How many upsets that we've seen already in this bowl season by the underdog team?
Revez, Carlos for the extra point. It's good.
Tennessee had 3 scoring opportunities, and they finished what they started. That's the mark of a fine football team. The quarterback's job, have poise and confidence, but put the ball in the end zone and then celebrate. You notice the quarterback doesn't do any celebrating until the ball is put in the end zone. Right here, running off tackle, the best play in football since I've been coaching. Run off tackle on the goal line, right there.
Now Tim Brandt.
Keith, you talked about Tony Robinson, the all-star quarterback from Tennessee who severely injured his knee. I'm standing with him now, and I know you talked with Darrell Dickey, the quarterback who replaced you. He's playing a marvelous game. What did you all talk about?
Well, you know, he just asked me what was I looking at on the field, and I just told him look for McGee a little bit more down the middle because he's wide open, and just continue playing the way he's been playing.
So you look to him to go to McGee. Now, what was the mood in the locker room at halftime?
Oh, everyone was fired up still. Thing was, it's not over with yet. We still got 30 more ticks on the clock, so let's go play ball.
How's the recovery of the knee? Will you be able to play professional football? Will you be coming back?
Yes, I'll be back. I'll put down the crutches in January, and everything will be all right.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Keith, one thing that we should keep in mind, we've talked about Florida State sacking Testaverde 7 times in that ball game. But then he didn't sack him at all in the 4th quarter. Testaverde threw 2 touchdown passes, and Miami came back to win it.
Well, Tennessee's gotten him 6 times today. And I would imagine they are aware of everything that happened in the Florida State game. Tennessee has run off 21 consecutive points after Miami got the opening touchdown. J.C. Penney running recklessly out past the 25-yard line, but the laundry's all over the field again.
Another penalty against Miami is going to back them up even further, starting so deep in their territory that it's hard to move the ball down the field. So many things can happen. Normally, when you start back of your 20, you'll stop yourself before the defense does.
Uh-oh, look at this. That's Alfredo Roberts, tight end. Prominent member of the special teams and used sometimes in a double tight end circumstance, but right now Miami's getting themselves into a situation where they're not going to be thinking double tight end very much.
No. 2 touchdowns behind. They go
on the run back, 1st down.
I think for anybody that's joined us lately, that Tennessee defense has just confused the Miami offense in the blocking. They've been free rushing the passer. They have been outstanding, and that's the scoring drive.
Testaverde from the 10, out of the end zone, setting a screen pass, lobs it up to Alonzo Highsmith, and he gets back to about the line of scrimmage. In sum, listen to this. Miami in the ball game so far, sacks have cost them minus 62 yards. Penalties have cost them 85 yards. That's a total of 147 yards lost to penalties and quarterback sacks.
Lost yardage is one of the most damaging things to any offensive football team.
It's like 3 double bogeys in a row, isn't it?
You can't get out of it, can you, Keith? You go to 5 or 6 if you're not careful.
2nd down and 9. Testaverde rolls out to buy some time and looks deep. Flips it downfield, and it's in the crowd. Incomplete. Threw it away.
Tennessee was not fooled, Keith. The defensive backs played the receivers perfectly. Nothing was there. All Testaverde could do was throw it away. That's what he's done so far. One of the best passes in America, but he's confused. The defensive coaches at Tennessee told me if they could get Testaverde just to move a little bit, Keith, around the pocket. When he sets up and throws the ball without moving, he is so active. Move a step or two to the right, he's not near as proficient as he is otherwise.
It is 3rd down and 9, just outside the 10 for the Canes. Quarterback draw. Fumble. Tennessee's got it. No, they didn't. They got it. They lost it. And Alekna picked their pocket and stole the ball. How about that? And Big Dave almost came out of there with a 1st down.
A quarterback draw is something that we wouldn't expect to see with Testaverde, but he does run the 40 and 4.8, but he's not really a good experienced ball carrier.
Watch Alekna come in there and just steal it.
Alekna, number 73, just takes the ball right away from the Tennessee man. 4th down and just inches. Jones, number 54, let's see what he does. Here Jones is coming back, has already recovered 2 fumbles this year. Good athlete, he dives on the ball, up, it slips right out of his hand. Then someone else right there, I guess Kramer, number 1, had a chance. Alekna gets it.
Eagles to punt. Tennessee should have pretty good field position if Kramer handles it, and he does at the 40. A 40-yard punt. It's 1st down. Tennessee at their own 40. They lead 21-7 in the 3rd quarter. Darrell Dickey having quite a day. Tim Brandt yesterday talked to his coach, Johnny Majors, who said this.
Darrell Dickey's done an amazing job. We couldn't have asked for a quarterback to perform better under circumstances or under any circumstances, but to come off the bench and being a 5th-year senior, only starting 1 game before, Darrell did it because of he's a good team man. He's a good performer. He studies the game very thoroughly. He came from a good football background.
He does come from a good football background. His dad was a fine player and a great coach.
1st down for the Vols at their 40. Time remaining 3rd quarter, 7:21. Dickey hands the ball off. It goes to Jeff Powell. Powell is gone. Goodbye. Touchdown. Boy, what a story that kid is.
Keith, I cannot believe Powell is. It's unbelievable for a young man to come and play football in his senior year. A track man, transferred from William and Mary, has 10 rushes for 98 yards. But if we see this play again, Keith, at the bottom of the screen, the defensive end moves to the outside, and watch the defensive end. He moves to the outside, and look at the hole. It's a natural hole right there. They don't have to block anybody but the linebacker. Moss, number 92, and then it's the foot race, and Blades, who has got world-class speed. Look at Blades, number 36, he can't catch him, and Blades holds a high school record for the 400-yard dash in the state of Florida. Number 21, Walter Mitty Stewart to the left of your screen. 25, Miller makes the block right there. And look at the hole. It was a natural hole. Amazing. I'm going to repeat. 36 Blades has world-class speed. He cannot catch this track man from William & Mary playing his senior year. Now the block on Jerome Brown is the key. Blocking him to the inside has to be the play. And it's being done by the tackle. 68 Wilkinson. All Southeastern Conference senior.
Second team All-American.
Second team All-American. He floored him to the inside, making the running room for Powell to go 60 yards for the touchdown.
That's the longest run from scrimmage against Miami's defense this year. So there's some testimony to that right there. As the kickoff now goes way back into the end zone. And this J.C. Penney says, I've had enough of this getting my helmet busted at the 10. I'm going to let that thing go into seats and we'll at least get it to 20.
You know, Johnny Majors told me as we look at Darrell Dickey, and I wrote on my page here, Keith, would it be something if Darrell Dickey upstaged and stole the show from the great Vinny Testaverde? That would be some story to write about for Tennessee people for a long, long time. But Johnny Majors had a great statement. He said it's amazing what a team can accomplish when no one cares who gets the credit. When no one cares who gets the credit, then you've got a chance to be great. And that's what Tennessee has done.
That applies in all things.
In all things.
Warren Williams is eaten up at the line of scrimmage by number 59, Mark Hovanek.
Hovanek again. Most pleasant surprise Tennessee had. A young man, just a sophomore, good athletic ability, couldn't find a place for him to play, Keith. Tight end, linebacker, offensive guard. Finally, they put him in defensive tackle, and he becomes a star. He becomes a star, the right place for him.
Second down and 12, a loss of 2. Back goes Testaverde. Down the middle, underneath, pass is good, and good for a first down to Brian Blades. And Tennessee's been able to keep Brian Blades pretty quiet today. Here's Tim.
Keith, you talk about quiet. I'm on the Miami sideline now, and this team is shell-shocked. Instead of talking about adjustments and what the players should be doing, now the coaches are just telling them to keep their heads up, keep their composure, trying to get the morale back up, trying to get them emotionally sound. Remember, this is a team that talked more about national championship this week than it did about Tennessee. Now they're just trying to get back in the ball game.
They've got a pretty good-sized hill to climb on first down. Testaverde throws to the sidelines. Willie Smith catches under duress, but hangs on. Good for the completion up to the 38.
Miami really needs a score here, Keith. They've not scored since the second series, I guess it's the first series, the first quarter.
Yep.
They were able to take it in, score, have not done anything since then. But thinking about a national championship, last year Barry Switzer learned a lesson. He talked about the national championship before the Orange Bowl and got waxed good by Washington. And that seems to be the case when you start talking about championships rather than the game you've got to play.
Second down, 5.5. Williams works in there for about 3 yards. Of course, I'm not so sure it was Miami doing all the talking. I think it was in the media doing the talking.
It was, and of course, I think the Miami coaches started it. At the end of the season when they talked about they deserved to be national champions if Penn State lost, and they started giving all the reasons why. And somehow you get thinking about that and counting your chickens before they hatch, even before they roost.
Get the eggs in the nest first, don't you?
You sure do.
Third down and 3. They're throwing on it, and it's good for the first down to Willie Smith. Smith took a lick, and the Tennessee man that gave him the lick is hurt some. Darren Miller holding on to his right wrist.
Boy, Willie Smith can get open, Keith. The tight end, he's working on those linebackers, trying to find the open spot. Testaverde knows when the blitz is coming that Smith is working against the linebacker, so he just lets him have that ball. Look at the location of the throw, just perfect. Right outside shoulder where it cannot be intercepted.
You know who's been all over that field today and has played a heck of a ball game is that Kramer.
Kramer has been sensational. He surely has, Keith.
Everywhere.
They're showing blitz. They're showing the 9-man blitz, safety blitz. 11 men within
11 men are up there within 5 yards of the ball. Testaverde is sacked. The ball is loose, and Highsmith covers it for Miami at the 40. Oh, my goodness. Tennessee had 11 people within 5 yards of the ball.
Well, you got to have courage. And I mean a lot of courage. But when you put 11 of them up there, they were determined that they were going to get to Testaverde. And here Jones comes from the outside. He doesn't make it, but there's Hovanec again, number 59, knocking the ball loose, but recovered by, I could not see the number.
Highsmith.
Highsmith. Okay.
That's 5 sacks for
Here
70 yards.
Hovanec again, just as we called, came around the block and made the play.
Ball back on second down at the 40. Testaverde gets it off, intended for Blades. It is intercepted. Picked off by Terry McDaniel.
I'm talking about playing man for man to perfection. McDaniel, number 86, wide receiver, moved over to defense. There's a challenge right there. Look at the speed. Now, Blades has great speed. Good gracious, did McDaniel run right by him and intercept that ball. Just a great play again by the Tennessee defense.
Well, time is already an ally of Tennessee. 4:19 to go in the third quarter. They lead 28-7. They've just intercepted Testaverde. They have the football, first down, just short of their own 19-yard line. Terry McDaniel came out with that last interception. And Dickey now with an audible call. Hands the ball to the tailback. That is Wilson. And Charles Wilson runs it out to the 23 as flags go down again. It was interesting to me, Frank, that the first person out on the edge of the field to welcome McDaniel after his interception was Ron Zook, the defensive backs coach. McDaniel's only a sophomore.
John Majors told me that Ron Zook's one of the brightest young men in coaching he's ever seen. And when he's playing this man, I didn't think that Tennessee would have a chance to cover a man for man as they have in this ball game, because Miami has outstanding wide receivers. You look at their record, they're just unbelievable. And yet they have, all except for the first touchdown, Tennessee backs been outstanding. You just have to give him full credit.
Penalty here is against Tennessee. Selwyn Brown, the strong safety of Miami, helped off the field, shaken up. And in to replace him is Kevin McCutcheon. Here's Tim Brent.
Keith, they're working on Tennessee inside linebacker Darren Miller. He has a badly bruised right hand. I mean, the top of his hand is just navy blue. It is swollen. They're patting it up now and taping it. They're going to see if he can put some pressure on it, take a lick. They're going to try to get him back in the ball game, but it is a badly bruised hand.
He's played well for them. Lavoisier Fisher is his backup, a senior out of Nashville. Tennessee now with that penalty is backed up inside the 10, inside their own 9, where it's first down. And Dickey shoots one down the middle. It is incomplete, off the hands of his tight end, Jeff Smith. I thought the fellas named Smith both might have a big day today. Willie has had, but Jeff has been pretty quiet. Here could have been a real big play for the ball.
Smith breaking inside. The defensive backs, there's Bain, number 18, right on top of him. When the quarterback raises up and throws the ball, the defensive backs do not retreat. So it has to be timed perfectly for it to be successful.
Second down from the 9. Second down and 20. Here comes Wilson. Charles Wilson is hit, had his feet taken away from him by number 92, Winston Moss. Moss had arthroscopic surgery and has bounced back to play.
Tennessee wants to be real careful with the football, third and long yardage. Just don't give Miami anything easy. And they haven't all year. Why should I say that? They've had 7 fumbles in the last 7 games, and then they've lost 1 today when Davis turned it over. Miami didn't capitalize.
Vinny Testaverde there on the bench. It's third down and about 16. Stay with the ground game. Give it to Wilson. And Charles runs it out across the 20 near the 22, and now they'll have to punt it away. One of the things that's sort of missing here, and I'm reluctant to say it because he's done the job for them, Garman and Asmus both for Tennessee, but they don't have that big booming punter this year. When you go to Tennessee, you expect to see some guy who can stand out there and knock it 50, 55 yards, but they don't have him anymore.
Well, they had 2 Caldwells back to back, and both of them in the NFL.
Bob Garman is out there now. Pressure on, gets it out. Good kick. Oh, my goodness.
You fired him up, Keith.
That's the best one of the day for anybody. This is Perriman. Down he goes at the 37. So Garmin really nailed a dandy, 52 yards at 2:21 to go in the third quarter. 2:21 to go, third quarter. Miami, pretty good field position, their own 38, trailing 28-7. Tennessee's defensive people moving around, moving around, moving around. Testaverde drops, looks, drops, throws. Caught over the middle, and good for a first down at the Volunteers 42 with Brett Perryman, number 33, coming across the middle to take the hit and make the catch.
Now, as we look at the play again, Perryman comes across. Beautiful touch by Testaverde, right in the middle, perfectly thrown. Miami is not huddling. That makes Tennessee play a base defense. They can't get all those blitzes since Miami's not going into the huddle. You can't call them.
Tennessee encroached on the play, but got away with it. Testaverde zips to the sidelines. Perryman again steps out. He's beyond the marker. He's got another first down. 1:57 to go in the third quarter.
When the team does runs without the huddle, the defense have a check defense that they can play, and normally it's a base defense, nothing fancy. So that's what Miami was trying to do right there. As we look at Bob Garmin, who just punted the ball 52 yards, and tonight it raised his average to 45.
Ball is on the Tennessee 31. Miami did take the huddle that time. First down for the Canes. They stick it in. They're back in the game. Pressure on Testaverde. Gets it away down the middle, and it is incomplete, and penalty flags all over the place, and I do believe you got a foul call coming here.
Well, if it's a pass interference, it'll be a 15-yard penalty. The college rule, different from the pro rule and different than it was a couple of years ago. So it'll be a 15-yard penalty. The penalty is further than 15 yards, so...
Well, Kramer and McDaniel turn Perryman into a sandwich right here.
Number one, Kramer hits him right there before the ball gets there. That's clearly a foul. Then Kramer goes in front, hits the ball, and goes up in the air, but the foul had already been completed. 15-yard penalty. Kramer's had a great game. He can't feel downcast about that one play. He's been outstanding all over the field tonight. Wasn't due to start. Hadn't been starting, as Sims and Brown, the halfbacks all season long, are injured and not playing.
Miami first down at the Tennessee 16. Testaverde back in a hurry. Pressure on him. He's going to get sacked back on the 22-yard line.
A four-man rush.
Mark Hovanek.
Yep. A four-man rush, meaning that the defensive backs had just covered all the receivers. Testaverde was trying to hold the ball as long as he could. Let's look at the comparison of the two quarterbacks. 14 out of 22 for Dickey, 100 yards, 1 TD, 18 out of 29 for Testaverde.
Again, pressure's on him. The pass is away, and a penalty flag is thrown again.
Gosh, Keith, that could go any way.
Yep.
Could go either way because the receiver was wide open.
Willie Smith.
His offensive interference, I thought it might be that, Keith, because the receiver was so wide open, I didn't see anybody push the receiver. That's 15 yards and loss of down. 15 yards and loss of down. Now the receiver, the rules are very clear. The receiver, knowing that it's a pass, it's his responsibility to dodge the defensive player. He cannot push off or interfere with the defensive man since he is on the offense and knows that it's a pass been called in the huddle. 15 yards and loss of down.
Have you ever seen more jubilant concurrence, however, than you saw there amongst those
Pass
who wear orange?
Offense.
Well,
Loss of down. Third down. Third down.
Plus the fact that's the 11th flag against Miami for 100 yards. Wow.
That's way above the average for the season.
Foul's a foul, I guess. Oh, it's far above the average. Sure it is.
Tennessee dropping way back.
Play in center field as Testaverde rolls it out and gets sacked one more time. Fred Bennett out of Pritchard, Alabama.
Fred Bennett was a starting nose guard and was injured and missed 4 games. but he has the quickness. He's only 6, but it probably was a twist. There he's going to twist all the way around the left. Number 95 goes outside, and Leighton, the guard, could not block him. Did not have the quickness, and he tackles Testaverde for the loss. Here are the sacks again. Miami 7 for 86 yards. Tennessee has had only 1 sack against them for 8 yards.
Tennessee defense just stifling the Canes. Tail dragger, fair catch, 11-yard line.
But Tennessee leads the nation in turnover ratio, and so they don't have much to hope for.
Howell is the tailback. Howard is the fullback. Howell has a 60-yard touchdown run, and here he goes into the middle out to about the 16.
Howell is such a great story. We talked about it, Keith, but when I saw the write-ups come in and he was a starting tailback, I went out and got the press guide. He's not even listed.
Can't find him. I did exactly the same thing. Can't find him anywhere. I pick up the phone, call Tennessee, and say, who is this guy?
Who is the starter at tailback? We did 2 games. He wasn't even on the varsity squad. Wasn't even on the varsity squad. There's what he's done. 11 runs for 102 yards, including a 60-yard touchdown dash.
We've played 3 quarters. For Tennessee, as we go to the final quarter, 2nd down and 6. The ball out near their 16-yard line. They lead 28-7. 15 minutes to play. Miami was an 8-point favorite coming into the ball game. Handed off to Charles Wilson, and he almost loses the handle at the 20, and he'll be a couple of yards short of the 1st down.
This game has turned so dramatically different. Miami does lead in 1st downs, but they only have 10 yards rushing, mainly, I guess, because it had 86 yards in sacks. Rushing yards for Tennessee, 151, Keith, and we talked, and Johnny Majors said if he could rush for 150 yards, he thought he had a great chance to win the game, and it looks like he's a good prophet.
3rd and 2.5. Dickey, little pop down the middle, got a man open, and it's a 1st down for the Volunteers at midfield. Tim McGee, who else? Well, it could be Clink Scales, but in this instance, it is the senior McGee.
How McGee sets up the defensive back was so beautiful. He came in, regardless of how much speed you have, watch McGee give a little fake outside. Now he comes inside, runs right by Bain. What I say, when he's even, he's leaving, and that's exactly the way it was. The race is on. Finally, Blades brings him down.
7 catches for Tim, 91 yards. And the ball is at midfield, 1st down for the Volunteers.
McGee has 947 yards coming into this ball game, All-American.
Up the middle goes William Howard. All the way to, what, the 41? 42. 8 yards on the carry. You know, the one thing, you see the happiness on the orange side, gloom on the Miami side, but the thing where this thing is turned, Frank, the Miami defensive front 4 has not bothered Dickey.
Not at all since the first series, Keith, and Jerome Brown, who just demolished the Oklahoma team, number 98, has made very few plays in this ball game.
There goes the big man again, Howard, and he's got a 1st down at the Miami 35. And now it is Tennessee that's becoming the intimidator.
Harry Galbraith, number 76, is the man that is blocking the left guard. Number 76, the strongest player on the Miami football team right there, on the Tennessee football team, blocking the strongest man, and he turns him to the inside, and the big fullback runs right over him. Harry Galbraith, number 76, starting left guard, just a great block.
Double wide, bottom of the picture for Tennessee. Dickey back to throw. Loads it up and lets it go, and it's incomplete, and there's a penalty flag.
Keith, even though we're seeing a lot of holding, I'm glad. We have, in college, I think, officials have been negligent in not calling the holding and letting passing teams get away with murder. I think most of the coaches believe that, particularly the running coaches. Tennessee going to get pushed back.
That's their 9th penalty for 94 yards.
I thought Darrell Dickey showed great pocket discipline. He stayed right in there. The receiver was due to
Holding. Offense. First down.
How long's it been since you've seen two teams penalized 200 yards?
It's been a long, long time, Keith.
They got 194 now.
Unless it was in the Aloha Bowl last
Well,
week.
no, they didn't quite get that
Didn't
high.
quite get that high.
They were close.
You hit it on the nail. The Miami defense has not stopped and not rushed Dickey since the first quarter.
They'll run it, and not much. Charles Wilson. Charles is only a sophomore. He's out of Pritchard, Alabama, 205-pounder. Tennessee's a relatively young team.
They have 13 seniors on the entire squad, but only 6 or 7 starters. But Harry Galbraith, that guard that we talked about, Keith, is just a sophomore. Coaches say that he's the strongest player on their team, and he's blocking, obviously, the biggest and strongest player on the Miami team defense.
2nd down and 20 for Tennessee with Keith Davis, who's come back into the ball game now. He's been gone a long time. I thought he was laid up and hurt, but there he is. Comes out, however, into slot position as a receiver, and if he'd turned around, he'd had a ball. But Tim McGee, the short man in there, but I think Davis, if he'd have turned around, probably had a pretty good shot at getting it.
Dickey overthrew McGee just a little bit.
Here's Tim Brandt.
All right, Keith, that was McGee he just threw to, but you mentioned Davis. He has been out a long time. I talked to him a few minutes ago. He has a badly bruised hip, but he says he can play. He's back in the ball game. He's going to play this 4th quarter, but he says it is bothered him and he is in some pain.
Keith, Davis has been hurt the last month of the season, in and out of the lineup.
All right, McGee comes back up into a flanker. Dickey lets it fly for Clinkscales, and it is intercepted. Don Ellis.
They give him a touchback call on it, Keith. No, they don't. The ball was called on the 3-yard line.
Yeah, he caught it on the 3.
The rule is not a safety. The rule is if you get possession of the ball on an interception close to the goal line, where you first take possession is where they spot the ball, not the fact that you take the ball into the end zone. You can see that Ellis goes right up. He's carried to the 1-yard line, so it's good interception by the Miami defense.
Somebody worked a long time on that one, didn't they? I'll tell you one thing, if you're sleeping in New Orleans tonight, you ought to go to the Miami Hotel. Out of the end zone, Testaverde lets it rip, and he's got Irvin wide open. Coverage broken by Tennessee. Somebody was asleep. Mike's got a first down up around the 47-yard line.
Keith, I don't know. I was looking at that sign and didn't see the defense. But for some reason, nobody covered Irvin.
Yeah, that might have been Andre Kramer.
They just busted the coverage. As you said, you can see how wide open he is. No one over there. That's the only time we've seen a receiver wide open tonight for Miami.
There's 12 minutes to play. You can score a lot of points in 12 minutes. There's a little lob to Irvin, and it goes right through his hand. Trying to look back over his shoulder. Chris White was in the neighborhood. White being the other Walter Mitty story for Tennessee this year, having gotten a chance to play because of injury to Charles Davis. Came up with 3 interceptions against UCLA, and he's finished with 9 and made all conference.
Here are the Miami possessions. Just how good has the Tennessee defense been? There's a good example of it. After the first one with a touchdown, you can see that been very few plays. Tennessee defense has outquicked them, and they're confused. Miami is frustrated.
2nd down and 10.
Got a wide open for a touchdown.
Not anymore, not with that kind of pressure, and it was Brian Blades who came across and spoiled Mike Irvin's opportunity to pull it in. I thought Irvin had a chance to haul that one down, and Blades came across and knocked it out of his hand.
The tight end, Smith, was the one that's wide open, Keith, and Testaverde never did see him. Watch Smith. Somehow they busted the defense again. Watch him. Give me the ball. My hand's up. Give me the ball. Please, please see me, Mr. Testaverde. Please see me still. Doggone it, kick the ground. Nobody saw me.
We sure were. I was negligent a moment ago in that interception of Dickey, Frank, by Don Ellis.
First one, second one.
122 straight passes. Going
School
back
record.
to the Georgia Tech game.
School record.
3rd down and 10. Underneath, that's Bratton. And they gang tackle him at midfield and well short of the 1st down.
Tennessee probably going to look for Miami to go for it, but I don't think they are. I think Jimmy Johnson's going to go ahead and punt the ball. Well, let's see, it would be 4th down and 6 or 7.
7.
He's going to go ahead and punt the ball, or at least they're lining up in punt formation unless he has another trick play.
Well, Bratton took off with it last time. On 4th down and about 4.5. And Bratton about 25 yards.
Down by 3 touchdowns, you'd think that he would probably go for it, particularly with the national championship at stake. He's going to punt the ball, hope that Tennessee will start turning it over. That's his only chance.
No, he's not. Bratton's got it on the short snap and takes off. And gets the 1st down at the 40.
You called it. You anticipated it, Keith. Good call. Miami defense, the Tennessee defense lined up inside. Look to the right of your screen. Only one man to the outside. And you can see that they all get blocked right there. Bratton has excellent speed, even though he weighs 220 pounds. This is Davis, number 22, could have pulled him down just short of the 1st down, but he couldn't make the play.
They haven't made many mistakes today, though.
No, they haven't.
1st down, just short of the 40 on the Tennessee side of the field. They're after him, and he ducks out of bounds. Takes the loss, though, and it's substantial.
2 flags downfield. Could be pass interference one side or the other, but I didn't see the play because I was watching Testaverde. But there are 2 flags dropping way down the field.
3 flags.
3, okay.
That's a quorum.
They're all in agreement anyway.
Yep.
12 men on the field, Keith. 15
Tennessee.
yards and a 1st down. No wonder they played so well.
Yeah.
But one man is supposed to, the back judge is supposed to count them, and he did. They just had 12 men. And when you're playing crazy defenses, what happens is Ken Donahue calls the line front, and then Ron Zook has to substitute the backs, whether it's a nickel back or a dime back. And they just got confused there. It's a complicated thing, and surprisingly, it doesn't happen more often in a game like
men
this.
Participating on the play by the defense. 1st down.
Well, we saw one game this year where they had 13 playing. They penalized them for 12, for too many men. The next play, they penalized them again. Keith, remember that? Alabama on the extra point. Twice in a row they played too many people.
Tennessee now is charged with a timeout, and they were still confused. And you have 21 penalties called in the game now for a minus 209 yards.
Tim Brandt back on the Tennessee sideline, and the Tennessee coaches are really upset down here. Now, Frank Broyles hit it right on the nose. The first time, there were 12 men on the field. That was the flag. Then Tennessee had to call a timeout, which really got the Tennessee coaches upset because they only had 9 men on the field. So they're screaming at their players to pay attention. Listen what's called. Get in or out, but pay attention and do what you're supposed to do. So you're right, Frank. They're a little bit screwed up right now.
They better get their act together because Miami's sitting down on the 25-yard line. Testaverde back to throw. 10 minutes and 25 seconds to play. That shot's in the end zone. There's a penalty flag against Tennessee. It's interference. Going down underneath the ball was Andre Brown, and it's going to be 15 yards, I bet you, and a 1st down for Miami.
The defensive back bumped into the receiver. The pass was not going to be caught in any event. It was overthrown. Brown, number 83, going inside route.
Charles Davis
right over the middle. Charles Davis, number 22, right there. Hesitated instead of going with him. He bumps him right there. The ball was high, but it is 15-yard penalty. Will be half the distance to the goal. 12-yard penalty, 12 and a half yards to be exact. There are the penalties that we've had so far in this game.
And it. Get into your book, Burnson, and find out the record for penalties. I think we passed it an hour ago.
Well, the referee marked off. He just made a mistake. He marked off 15 yards instead of
Pass interference.
defense. Half the
1st
distance
down.
to the goal, Keith.
Why doesn't Tennessee say something?
Well, they just didn't realize it. The ball was on the 25. He penalized them half the distance to the goal.
Too late now. Ball snapped. Testaverde shoots it into the end. Oh, it's intercepted. Intercepted by Darren Miller, the man with the bruised right hand. Oh, Testaverde tried to take a little off the ball and touch it into a receiver, and lo and behold, big old Darren stepped up and picked his pocket.
Well, he just threw it right to him, didn't he, Keith? Miller's just dropping back like a linebacker should. Right back into the area where he can play the quarterback. He watches him, number 45. He tries to lay it over his head. He jumps up, catches it. Tennessee has the ball, stops the drive.
Well, the volunteer linebacking corps comes up with a big play. There's Miller, number 45. Had that little sore hand wrapped, and he doesn't feel a thing right now except joy. And Tennessee has the ball just beyond their 6. Vinny Testaverde on the phone upstairs. Better talk to everybody you can talk to upstairs right now, Vinny, because time's running out. Dickey hands the ball off to Charles Wilson, and Wilson can't get much out of it, if anything.
Once again, 2 tight ends, Keith. More blocking, trying to make a first down, running the ball.
2nd down and 10.
Tennessee's left tackle moved just a little bit.
Bruce Fleming saw him go and jumped right in there. This is already a new Sugar Bowl record for penalty yards.
Isn't it funny how sometimes, Keith, you can play a game. I played where neither team gets a penalty. Then the next week you have a lot of penalties. It's something that coaches have never learned the solution to. It's just a facet of the game of football in some ways.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 2nd down.
Of course, this crowd noise in this indoor arena has some effect on those motion penalties.
Tennessee's now gone ahead of Miami in yardage.
You penalized.
Nope. They got 124 now. That's a new Sugar Bowl record for one team. The old record was 120. Miami has 100, so they got 224 combined. 2nd down and about 15, and carrying the ball is Jim Miller. That's the first time I believe I've called his name today, except for a block he threw early on in the ball game. And he gets out to about the line of scrimmage.
Keith, the reason is he's carried the ball 5 times. He's a starting fullback. He's carried it all 5 times. Now he did
blocking back.
He's a blocking back, powerfully built, 220 pounds, only 6 foot tall. Carried the ball 5 times for 25 yards coming into this ball game. Now he did miss some games because of injury, primarily a blocker. So he shocked himself, I think, when they called his play. Really shocked him.
Ball's on the 6. 3rd down. 10. Dickey hands it inside to William Howard this time, and he's up to about the 11, picking up 5. And now it'll be Bob Garman, the punt.
The biggest surprise of the game is what you've already mentioned. That Miami's only sacked Darrell Dickey 1 time during the entire game. 1 sack in the entire ball game.
Garman, 4th punt now, 41-42, 52.
Miami needs to block the kick, Keith.
He seems to kick better under pressure. Last time they were all over him and he nailed it.
They've got 2 men back to catch the punt.
They're going after him, but he gets it out, and it's not a bad kick, but it's Perryman fielding on the run and quickly to the sidelines and out of bounds at about the 44. 38-yard punt. What do you got, Tim?
Keith, there has been a tradition established at Miami. First Jim Kelly, then it's Kozar, now Testaverde. I'm with Jim Kelly, and I've got to ask you right off the bat, I mean, what does Testaverde do to avoid any of this stuff?
Tell you what, I don't know. The offensive line seems like he can't pick up the stunts that they're giving him. Tell you what, he's having a tough game, and Tennessee seemed like he came in prepared.
How about you in the USFL? Are you going from Houston to New Jersey?
It seems that way. I guess everything's going to depend on what happens with the lawsuit against the NFL. I'd love to play in New Jersey, especially if Mr. Trump goes that dome.
What about the NFL? Would you go right now, and what's the situation?
I don't know. Buffalo has my rights for 1 more year. I'll just have to wait and see what happens.
All right, Jim. Keith?
Boy, there's a good one. About as good as I ever saw. Jim Kelly.
Going back to the quarterback.
Oliver throws back to Testaverde, and now Testaverde will go out of bounds and pick up on the play. What?
That's 7, 8 yards.
7 yards?
Yeah. Little trick play. Miami trying to pull out all the stops, concoct something that will get them some points on the scoreboard. They've tried virtually everything else. hits the ball back. Oliver runs over, throws back to big old tall Testaverde.
Maybe he could have thrown if Testaverde had stayed behind the line of scrimmage and been able to throw it back across the field and throw it down.
Yeah. He had to throw a lateral first, only one forward pass.
Yep.
Jim Kelly's right. The quarterback is at the mercy of his blockers.
Yep. Lofted to Irvin, intercepted by Chris White, his 10th of the year. It's a foot race to the corner. He has company. He's out of bounds. Just inside the 5.
Keith, there's an old Chinese proverb that says persistence will be rewarded. Chris White is a clear illustration of fifth-year senior, never started a football game, got into the lineup because of an injury, proceeds to become a starter, makes one All-American team, consensus All-Southeastern Conference, intercepts 9 passes and leads the nation, and had never started a game, was a special team player until he got a chance because of Charles Davis's injury.
And Tennessee right here is trying for the door slammer. First and goal just inside the 5. It's Henderson. And big old Sam, the 250-pounder from South Bend, will get a couple of yards maybe on that carry.
I believe that was the 4th turnover by the Miami football team, and Jimmy had already said if he turns the ball over, he expected to lose this game or come close to losing it. Tennessee is an optimistic team. 21 plus turnovers for the season. There's Chris White. What a story that is.
Marvelous story. Henderson again. Oh boy, I'll tell you one thing about this Miami club, and it's a very young football team. Only one senior starter. They won all their big games the last 2 years on the road. They're getting whipped around here pretty good today.
Keith, bowl games, you know, we've talked about how difficult it is to get your bowl team ready to play. After the season, you have 30 days. You really don't know whether to work them hard, not work them hard, and coaches have tried every method. None have worked perfectly. There's just something about that 30-day rest. You don't know what's going to happen.
An old friend of mine used to say a bowl game is like 2 extra weeks of spring training.
It is.
A fellow named Bryant.
Yep. Helps your team down the road.
This is Wilson. Touchdown.
Everybody lines up inside, you take the ball outside. All you do is have to hold your ground, and you get lead blockers. Henderson, number 43, making the key block right there. The cornerback did not come up and support as he should have, and it opened up a crease, a seam. Wilson goes right in for the touchdown.
It's 181 yards and 4 touchdowns on the ground for the Volunteers. The kick by Revez is good for the point. And with exactly 6 minutes to play in the game, it's 35-7 Tennessee. The Tennessee Volunteers have rattled off 35 straight points after Miami scored first to go ahead 7-0. And if this keeps up, I'm going to know the words to Rocky Top time I go home.
You know, we've talked about momentum. Since the opening series, Tennessee's had the momentum. And there are 3 things that happen with momentum. Enthusiasm picks up, intensity increase, and good things happen to you. That's all the case of Tennessee since that first possession.
J.C. Penney from the 4. Oh, look at this. Across the 40 and out to the 44. That's a 40-yard return brought down by Charles Davis.
Kind of went out, Penney did naked on that play, Keith. He was supposed to come to the left, and he saw a little running room to the right, and he just took off with it. We've got a new quarterback in the ball game.
Torretta. Jeff Torretta comes in. Jeff is
11 out of 16.
California.
Yeah,
hasn't played much.
He's a junior college transfer, Keith. He came in to be a player here in the passing offense. 11 out of 16 for the season. Handoff goes to Darrell Oliver. And Oliver
working with a sore back, does some nifty running. And he's close to a first down with 5 minutes and 43 seconds to play in the game. A beleaguered Vinny Testaverde. But don't despair.
No.
Don't despair. It's just toughening him, I expect. Seasoning, I believe your grandfather might have called it. Back goes Torretta. This is a good quarterback, but they stuffed right there by big old Richard Cooper. Big Richard.
The fans are yelling, "Coo, coo, coo." They've got a name for him when he blocks one of those passes. Gets a little penetration, and he's very smart in this tactic or technique. Stay right there. Don't rush out of the play, but just keep in front of the quarterback and be ready to jump when he throws the ball.
I think he had interception in mind that time.
He's a good athlete. Keith, when we did the Auburn game and the UCLA game, did you ever suspect the Tennessee defense would be so impressive
No, sir.
and so outstanding? They
No,
weren't
sir.
even suspect.
No, sir.
They weren't even suspect.
This is Oliver, fumbling but getting it back. He got a good bounce. He's got a first down at about the Tennessee 43.
I think we need to talk about Ken Donahue, a young coach who had great success with Bear Bryant, and then the Alabama coaches tried to put him out to retirement, said, "You coach long enough and we'd like for you to have a desk job." He said, "Not me, I'm going to somewhere else." Johnny Majors hired him, and he's had a sensational season.
Torretta's got it in the air, and it's intercepted. And ball squirts loose in the end zone, and they're waving it off, I believe, and saying no, he did not have possession. Terry McDaniel was the man defending on the play. And he's pretty good at that full-speed defense, isn't he?
He's a track man, too. McDaniel's track and has the great
Here's
speed.
the story of the ball game. First quarter, Miami out 7-0. The big play was Bratton running out of punt formation. Second quarter, Tennessee tied at 7-7. McGee a 22-yard catch. And then Tennessee out in front as McGee recovered Powell's fumble. Tennessee made it 21-7 as Miller of Miami fumbled, and the Vols came up with it, stuck it in the end zone, and since then, I'll give you the rest of it in a moment. Back goes Torretta to throw the ball, and it is caught by Perryman on the sidelines. And he's going to be short of his first down, but it is a catch as Vic Peppers belted him. Tennessee made it 28-7 as Powell went 60 yards, and then 35-7 as White intercepted, went 68 yards, and they put it in the end zone to make it what it is right now. With 4:55 to play, 35-7. Torretta again throwing on third down and 3.5 to the sidelines. Bounces in front of Perryman.
Tennessee continues just to fake the blitz and then drop out and defend, giving the Miami quarterback and receivers a lot of problems as to where the open receiver could possibly be. There's the time left. 4:47, Keith. What a surprise. Turn around.
I wouldn't have been surprised, frankly, Frank, if it had been the other way.
No, I thought it was.
If there was going to be a blowout, it'd be Miami.
But after that first touchdown, I looked at you and said it's going to be a blowout. I pull it back.
Torretta, quick pop. Urban catches. First down, Miami. But you know what it sort of looks like? Again, I'm going to use golf in the analogy here. There are some days when you go out and you just can't do anything with the blame golf club, right?
That's correct.
And I sort of had Miami just looked like that from about the middle of the first quarter on. They were just a little bit out of sync.
Keith, let me keep continuing on that and see what happened. Incomplete pass. The Miami coaches told me they'd been working all month on their pass protection blocking schemes because of all the things that Tennessee did. You and I both know that a tentative player, one that's thinking, is not very aggressive.
Right.
Not very aggressive, and Miami has lacked the aggressiveness that they had in other games. And I think one of the primary reasons is that Tennessee had them confused, had them thinking, and a thinking player hurts the team.
He slows down.
You're right. Analyzing is paralyzed.
Second down and 10. Torretta throws it up for grabs and has it promptly intercepted by Charles Davis. And Charles does a hook slide at the 31 and gets a penalty flag in his hip pocket. What would that be? Or did they call a flag?
Yeah, there's a flag there.
There is a flag there.
Maybe a face mask, I don't know. He wanted to get on the ground. He didn't want to possibly fumble the ball.
That's the 6th turnover by Miami. Personal foul. Miami. First down for Tennessee outside the 45. And the Volunteers now with Jeff Francis in at quarterback, going to play on the ground until this game winds on down. William Howard's in there now, big back, along with Jeff Powell. Jeff Francis is a 6'3", 200-pound freshman out of Mount Prospect, Illinois, and may very well be the quarterback of the future for Tennessee.
Johnny Majors thinks that he's going to be, that he has great promise, prospects for the future. Hall, good arm, getting good experience here for him. Good morale builder for him. Young quarterback, Dickey graduating, Tony Robinson graduating.
Inside goes William Howard again with the ball, and he'll be short of his first down. In the Orange Bowl, with Oklahoma leading Penn State 19-10, Tim Lasher has kicked 4 field goals for the new Orange Bowl record. And if Penn State loses, with Miami having already lost a game, of course, but if Penn State loses, the only undefeated team, I guess, in Division 1A is going to be Fresno State.
Jim Sweeney's team.
You know what? Somebody asked me last night. Fresno State move up in the ratings?
Well, I think that they would, and you had a good comment. Tell fans what you said about hoping they could move up.
Well, I just don't know if the voters know them.
They need to play some teams in the eastern part of the country. Jim Sweeney is one of my best friends and one of the best coaches that the game has in college.
On 3rd down and 4, Francis hands the ball, this time to Charles Wilson. And I think Wilson's marked. Well, he's close. He's close.
Keith, I wrote down on my paper, could Darrell Dickey upstage Vinny Testaverde? I think he did, really. He had a better cast. Testaverde's team was confused, tentative, didn't have the aggressiveness of this Tennessee football team. But Darrell Dickey, coming off the bench in the middle of the year, just a sensational game.
That's Ron Zook right there, isn't it? The young man with a headset and a mustache.
Tennessee's only got 10 players.
They got his first down. They gave him the... That's right, they do. And they got 10 players, picked up 6 yards.
Well, here goes the 11th one in the ball game.
Jim Miller just carried it. Well, Miami's bones are aching now. They're tired. Their feelings are hurt. They're frustrated. They're embarrassed. But this is the one thing about sport. When you take a whipping, take a whipping. But oftentimes you'll find that the other guy's a lot tougher the second time around. Here's the story of the 2 quarterbacks. Testaverde with 217, Dickey with only 130. But in this particular instance, numbers don't give you the full story.
The first 2 drives of Tennessee with Dickey playing the quarterback position. And the amazing thing is Tennessee has finished what they started doing. Every time they went down, Keith got a touchdown.
Yep.
And that's the quarterback. You give credit to the quarterback. The passing record is not where you completely outshine the opponent. It's getting the ball in the end zone is what the criteria. That's the performance. The lone criteria is performance of the team, getting it in the end zone.
It's 3rd down and 3 right here on this snap. Tennessee stays on the ground, and once again, I think they're going to have the first down as we are up to 1 minute and 10 seconds now to go in the game. I don't think there's any question, at least in my mind, that Darrell Dickey is going to be named the MVP of this 52nd Sugar Bowl game. A crowd of 77,432 came to watch it. About 40,000 of them, at least, were Tennesseans. Miami sold 12,500. Most of them came.
Keith, it's one of the most surprising bowl games that I can remember. Miami has such great talent, but they just didn't execute today.
Well, you had several surprises. You had Georgia Tech playing without its starting halfback as Ronnie Hawkins just went in there and banged out 7 yards for Tennessee. Georgia Tech beat Michigan State 17-14.
Without their quarterback, too.
Army beat Illinois. Air Force beat Texas. Colorado almost got Washington. So Form was Alabama whacked the daylights out of USC. So Form got kicked around some this year in the postseason play.
Happens every year.
Does.
You can chart it, examine it.
This is Hawkins again carrying, and he picks up a first down this time for Tennessee, and that'll do it. The 52nd Sugar Bowl Classic is history. The Volunteers of Tennessee upset the Hurricanes of Miami. They thrashed them by a final score of 35-7 under the dome in New Orleans, Louisiana. Darrell Dickey, the Tennessee quarterback, is the Sugar Bowl MVP for the 52nd Annual Classic. Darrell Dickey, once again, your final score, Tennessee 35, Miami 7.